Так. Если ты про Элис, то да, вот моя жена. А, я из Сакура. Ща. Ты вот про этот скин? Но мне он не нравится, он такой кринжовенький. Да, этот скин будет со стигматой ее. Ща, я даже покажу. У меня есть эти стигматы. Так, где она, где она, где она, где она, где она? А, нет, у меня нет. Ща. Нет. Превью. Бля, а тут можно как-нибудь посмотреть? Вот, на нее будет вот такой вот скин. Я типа очень жду. Просто, ну это же обалденный скин. Вот этот котик, кстати, он есть в реальном офисе Михуё. Его типа рисовали с этого. Я такой, блин, это очень кьют. Кстати, могу показать прикольчик. Ща. Да, он прям такой няшек, мне тоже нравится. Смотрите, это же жесткий вельт. Он такой, он тут еще, конечно, не с красивой моделькой, как в КСРе. Но да, а это его сына. Да, но он же типа старый. Ну, типа, после событий вот этого вот, так скажем, open world происходит, типа, через 10 лет начинается ХСР. Ну, Эль, смотри, он как бы приемный сын, но этот сын, он, короче, генетический клон того чувака, который дал ему силы Хершера, и, типа, для него он был как братом. Вот так вот. И он воспитывает этого чувака вместе, сейчас скажу, с кем.
Я знаю, что услышать только Илюху, я на его стриме сижу.
Вот с ней. С Теслой. Да, это типа первый Хершер. Да, и он взял его имя Вельт. Но все мы знаем, с кем надо шиперить этого. Где? Вот с ним шиперят Вельта, ну потому что, ну это база. Вот этот вот.
Ссылка на канал Илюши.
Ну типа,
вот.
ну ребят, канон. Что тут еще?
Залетайте,
Вот этого
фоловьтесь.
и этого, ну вот этих вот этого вот челика шиперят с ГГшкой ПХО, потому что, ну там жесткий между ними флирт. И типа все такие, ясно. Так, девочки, ну все, мы идем в ХСРВ. Так, теперь надо, короче, поставить вам что-нибудь. Так, как тут ставить новую сцену?
Лантрай тоже
Так,
стримит?
захват браузера.
Что?
Такой большой. Сразу залетаю, закидываю на резик и ухожу палец вверх эмоджи.
Ой, Скорпичка, привет. Спасибо тебе большое
Так,
за донат.
переводи, я
Спасибо. Я сегодня как раз обновила, что там было по резику. Да, у него теперь на целый стрим собрано. На целый стрим по резику собрано. Поздравляю тебя. Ой.
строил. Блин, девочки. Я дурашка. Ой, короче, знаете, как я сделаю? Я сделаю вот так. Нет. Так. Вот. Это что, это мне показалось? Или там был звук какой-то вкусненький? Это на меня сапнулись, о мой бог. Так. Все, я пока что врубаю ХСРВ. Так, а что ты на паузу ставишься? Да, на меня там жестко фоловится.
Молодцы, ребят, правильно, жестко фоловьтесь на Илюху. Ай.
Блин, Я не вижу, я что-то забыл про это. Блин, ребят, спасибо всем, кто подписались, спасибо за фоллоу.
Ну ладно, я закрываю стрим Илюхи. Здравствуйте, уважаемые подписчики. Здравствуйте. Наконец-то у нас начался месяц прохождения игр со сбора. Можно вновь активно начинать донатить на игры, которые вы хотите, чтобы я проходила. Подробности по команде «Сбор». Вам откроется ссылка на Google документ. И вы там сможете как раз посмотреть, что как. У нас вообще первый, там идет финалка Crisis Core, которая... Но я решил начать с Tangle Tower, потому что на него закидывал один человек. Игра небольшая, ну то есть человек прям full стрим оплатил. И я подумала, почему бы и да. Поэтому я решила вот Tangle Tower тоже начать проходить. Ганган сказал, игра хорошая, интересная, проходится быстро. Ник, все твои донаты я тоже закинула, все... Немного мучилась с донатами Кадаши, потому что я думала, что у Кадаши по умолчанию все на финалку. У него, оказывается, что-то там было на ДМК. Мне пришлось потом сидеть это все считать, вычитать. Вот. А мы начинаем Tangle Tower. Понятия, кстати, не имею, про что игра, кроме того, что это вроде как детектив. Tangle Tower. После полудня. Край озера.
You ready, Sally?
Grimore, I've been standing here for 7.5 minutes.
Just checking.
Do you have the map?
Yeah, but it's... Did you read the case file? What do you think?
I'm not sure yet. It's really not a lot to go on. Did you read it?
Yeah, I'll read it on the way to the crime scene.
Досье. Жертва Фрей Фэллоу, 19. Убита во время рисования портрета Флоры Фэллоу, 58. Место башня Флоры. Флора была там, так как она позировала для портрета. Фрей Фэллоу нашли лежащей на спине, на груди у нее была одиночная колотая рана. На месте преступления не найдено никакого оружия, но Флора, изображенная на незаконченной картине Фрей, держит в руке нож. Кончик ножа покрыт красной краской, на самом деле это кровь. Небольшая картина на обрывке бумаги. На оборотной стороне написано несколько слов. Часто место называется Путанной башней. На самом деле это пара башен, которые объединяет у основания особняка. Путанная башня окружена озером. Вода в озере необычного оттенка. Озеро окружают крутые бледные скалы. Они такие гладкие и крутые, что на них не забраться. На данный момент в Путанной башне живут семья Фэллоу и семья Пойнтеров. О, можно прям рассмотреть. Короче, у нас детективчик прям. Это, я так понимаю, вот картина, и вот кончик ножа, который с кровью.
So, who do you think did it?
Вечер добрый. Поздравляю с обновлением сбора. Надеюсь, ты хорошо отдохнула. При всей моей любви к FF7 жду ДНК и Байонету. К слову, на бай.
Я что-то, кстати, сбор листала, на Байонету, по-моему, вообще ни одного доната не было. Вообще все забыли про Байонету. Ну, ничего. Спасибо большое, Кадаш, за донат. Хорошо, тарелка пельмешей, хорошо. Индиго, я перепроверю тогда твои донаты, что там по Байонете. Я перепроверю.
Sally, you know full well we haven't met a single suspect yet. We haven't even been to the crime scene.
Still, I reckon I've got it all worked out.
It's a bird bath. Is that just rainwater? Looks a little weird.
The birds seem to like it.
They're even singing a little tune. Toot, 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 toot.
Please don't do that.
It's a bird bath.
Is that just the birds seem
They're
to...
even singing a little tune. Toot, toot.
Please don't do
Мне
that.
просто интересно, зачем они выделяют
It's just
слово
an
мелодия.
archway, but it seems a little ominous. Like walking through it might give you bad luck.
Too late.
What are they?
Wind chimes. Silent. Wooden wind chimes.
Так, а никакой тут подсказки не будет, типа, куда
That's a
можно
big
кликать?
It's kind of purple. Looks poisonous.
I think it's just water.
Yeah, water with poison in it. Why is the sky yellow?
Блин, я тут на все могу покликать.
Not everything is a mystery, Grimoire. The sky can be whatever color it likes.
It's the little boat we used to cross the lake. It's the only way on or off the island.
What a comforting thought. That's a big lake. I think
Yeah, water with poison in it.
I tied the boat now.
Ой.
Loving the confidence.
Да, озвучка приятная, и я очень рада, что
Well,
есть
it's
озвучка.
moist, but it's not muddy. Wonder how often it rains here.
I cannot believe how exciting this murder investigation is already. It's a garden, I think. It's currently far away.
We could walk closer to it.
Ready when you are.
Do you think anybody's watching us from one of those windows?
Maybe. Let's wave just in case.
Но сейчас будет долго, я сейчас буду везде
Ground's
тыкать.
moist.
I cannot believe how it...
Ой, прикольно, прикольно сделано.
Сборы посчитаны. Завтра жду второго пришествия. Вот
Вау.
это я, конечно, насрал донатами на 2 стрима. Надеюсь, ты готова ломать пальцы об платформер. Сегодняшняя игра выглядит стилево. Хорошие игры.
Да, мне тоже очень нравится. Но я так понимаю, она раньше была мобилка, это чувствуется. Но вообще красиво выглядит.
It's a stone carving. Wonder how it got cracked.
I think it's supposed to look like that. It's an egg.
It's a statue of some hideous, scaly, bipedal fish monster.
Опу. Запускаем цепочку любви и добра, девочки. Всем желаю хорошего стрима и дождаться своих любимых игр на Энигму.
Ой, привет, Дан. Да, очень жду Энигму тоже. Спасибо за донат.
Playing a harp.
Playing a harp. Hang on a second. This isn't just a regular statue, is it?
Something tells me we're not gonna solve this just yet.
Let's come back later.
Может быть, я не указывал, что
Это
значит на
must do
байонету, так можешь
something.
просто всех их записать к байонету? Хорошо, Индиго, тогда все твои донаты запишу к байонету. Только под каким ником ты донатил? Мистер Индиго или просто Индиго?
Мяу. Мяу, мяу, мяу.
Приветик. На Алису в стране кошмаров 300 на 300 на машинариум.
Хорошо, енотик, спасибо большое за донат. Мистер Индиго, а можешь мне куда-нибудь написать, где у тебя, ну как ники твои пишутся? В ВК мне напиши, или в телеге под постом про сборы. Спасибо, енотик, обязательно добавлю после стрима. Тебе нужна будет помощь? Если я буду спрашивать помощь, тогда надо. Так мне не надо ничего говорить, ребят, не надо мне подсказывать. Я тоже хочу получать удовольствие, пожалуйста.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Статуя с арфой. Ага, значит, тут еще и пон. Ультра-мега-пон. Прикольно. Ой, это что такое? Это лапа?
What animal is that?
А, ой, тут еще и башка.
Hawk. Bear. Lizard.
Так, проверь, сколько времени я подписан. Ты подписан с 17 апреля 2019 года. Это твое первое сообщение за 4 года!
Right, of course. A hawk bear lizard.
Так, ладно, я предлагаю пойти. Мы еще все осмотреть успеем. Главный вход.
A path leading towards the stone square.
Oh.
What?
Oh. There's an O on the floor.
Oh yeah. Tangle Tower.
Twirl.
Блин, они такие кринжули.
Ah, there's a heart engraved in the tree. I didn't know people actually did that.
PPFF.
Получается, у Фрей был какой-то пипи. Как тут много всяких улик. Ой, жесть. Жесть, как много всего.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Tangle.
Twirl. Do you think he'll start to move if we try to go inside?
Но тут тоже какие-то живут на букву П типы.
No, I think he'll just silently judge us.
Don't think it's locked.
Oh, that means we can just walk straight in, right?
I'm pretty sure that's the rule, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that an envelope?
It's been opened, but the letter's still in there. Let's read it.
Isn't that an invasion of someone's privacy?
No, definitely.
Открытое письмо. Конверт разорван, внутри листок бумаги. Кодовая комбинация нарисована на другом листке. Запомни ее наизусть и уничтожь листок. Я не принимаю твои соображения. Там внизу ты ничего не найдешь. Интересно. Интересно, девки пляшут. Ты взяла те стенды с мужиками? Да. Ну а что, 500 рублей? Это будет мой первый мерч вообще по корейской фигне.
Now it's a big glass tube filled with water.
There are weeds in there. And sand.
It's an aquarium?
Could be. Except there's nothing living in it. Anymore. This one has a big P.
That's probably important.
How very perceptive of you.
Блин, я думала, у них будет парочка, где типа... Ну, деваха вся такая умная и серьезная, а чел тупой долбоеб. Но я вижу, что она, в принципе, его шутки поддерживает. Ну, типа, она тоже немножечко кекает.
A big letter F.
Of course. Who doesn't hang a giant banner of their initial in the lobby of their mansion?
What is that?
I think it's a family tree.
Ой.
Fiona Fellow. Dead center. She must be important.
She's half fellow and half Remington.
Do you think she still lives here? Freya Fellow.
The murder victim.
She's barely related to the main family at all.
Poppy Pointer.
О, господи.
Такой большой.
Привет всем. Как удачно вернулся с отдыха. Всех поздравляю с играми из сбора. Приятной игры.
Ой, привет, чертенок. Я как раз думала, что тебя нет последнее время. Привет, привет. Давай, скоро Кризис Кор пойдем. Спасибо за донат.
She's half Remington and half Pointer.
Do you think she still lives here? Penelope Pointer.
Pointer?
Do you think she still lives here? Poppy Pointer. Do you
She's-
think she still lives here? Pandora Pointer.
All this alliteration isn't happening by accident, is it?
Do you think she still lives here?
А это кто вообще?
Бак
Почему он так в сторону
Бракли.
отошел?
What a name.
А, ну это...
Do you think he still lives
он.
here?
Lord Fellow.
Looks like he was married twice.
Scandal.
Lady Fellow.
Do these people not have first names?
Где бабушка Фрей? Она же тоже Фэллоу.
Felicia Fellow.
Freya's mother.
Do you think she still lives here? Selena Stonetop.
No family line. Apparently, she just appeared out of nowhere.
Как интересно. То есть она вообще из побочной ветви какой-то.
Damien Dusk.
Whoa. Is it too late to change my name to Detective Dusk?
It's Freya's father. Do you think he still lives here?
Flint Fellow.
A purebred fellow, if there ever was one. Married a randomer, though.
Do you think he still lives here? Felix Fellow. Looks like he married his way into the Remington family.
Do you think he still lives here?
Блин, очень интересно это все. Ведь Фиона Фэллоу уже это ее бабушка же, по идее.
Fiona Dead
She's half
Do you
fellow.
think she still lives here?
Не?
Fitzfellow. Half fellow.
Do you think he still lives here?
Flora Remington.
I think she's
Ah,
mentioned in
вот
our case
Flora.
file. Primrose Remington.
I always liked the name Primrose.
Да, я только хотел сказать, мне тоже очень нравится это имя.
Do you think she still lives here?
Richard Remington.
The one and only.
Lord Pointer.
This goes back a couple of generations. Lady Pointer.
How do you become a lady? I want to be a lady. Percival Pointer. He married into the Remington family.
Do you think he still lives here?
Так, ладно. Я могу сразу туда направиться. О, как удобно. Башня Флоры.
Let's take a look at that painting first. There it is. The unfinished portrait of Flora Fellow.
So, what? Freya was killed halfway through painting it.
Looks that way.
Рэй не успел закончить картину, так как она умерла, пока рисовала ее. Кажется, что Флора держит в руке нож. Красной жидкостью на кончике ножа оказалась кровь.
I wonder if all of Freya's paintings are this creepy. Maybe it's just because she never got to finish it.
There's something wrong with the crime scene. and something really weird about the murder weapon.
We didn't find a murder weapon.
О! А, надо сначала, видимо, все осмотреть. Или что?
Flora Fellow is holding a knife tipped with blood because it stabbed Freya. Almost. Maybe just... Flora Fellow is holding a knife tipped with blood because Freya put it there. Nope.
Картина как-то была замешана в падении на Фрею. А, портрет Флоры.
Flora's portrait is holding a knife tipped with blood because Freya put it there. Almost. Maybe just... Flora's portrait is holding a knife tipped with blood because it stabbed Freya.
What?
Weird, huh?
You think Freya was stabbed by a painting?
А чё нет?
Not by the woman from the painting, but by the painting.
Мы пока не знаем,
itself.
есть ли тут мистика.
Freya was standing right up by the
Ты
canvas when
хороший
she was
мальчик.
killed.
Ты хороший мальчик.
Добрый вечер.
О, привет, шоколад. Спасибо за донат.
There's blood on the knife. It's the murder weapon.
Right, but it's not actually a knife. It can't stab.
Да, стрим
See
сохранится,
any
будет на втором
other knives
канале.
around here? Case closed.
The case is not closed. And even if you were right, where does that leave us?
Такие не
Painting
дурашки.
can't be a murder suspect.
Что? Незаконченная картина. Начните исследование башни Флоры.
Is that an egg? An egg with bird feet.
It's also covered in gemstones. What a completely ordinary object.
I think it's a container for something.
Those gems look like they come off.
А. Блин. Она перевернута, да?
Nope.
Did you check the clue on the back of the egg? I'm pretty sure it explains where to put each of the gemstones.
Бэм. Или нет? М. Зеленая и желтая. Так. М. Сейчас дайте подумать. Так, это у меня правильно. Это у меня правильно. Это тоже. Так, а что у меня неправильно тогда? Да вроде я правильно расставила кружочки. Нет? Сейчас давайте перепроверим. Так, зеленая и розовый квадрат. Синий кружочек и фиолетовый треугольник. А, нажми просто...
That's the one.
А, блядь, просто надо было на замок нажать. Господи.
Hey, not bad. Did it unlock? What's in there?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Well, I'm not leaving without a clue. An empty egg is a clue, right?
Открыв яйцо, можно будет заглянуть внутрь, сейчас на пустое. Подкладка в яйце сделана из мягкого, похожего на бархат материала. Яйцо стоит на медной подставке, внизу у него 3 странных ноги с острыми когтями.
Is that a gramophone?
I think so. Except it's got a tape deck instead of a turntable.
It's also got a big crack down the middle.
Труба граммофона направлена на центр комнаты. Ага, понял.
What about the cassette tape?
Yeah, it sure is. Pink.
Кассета стычена посередине, с одной стороны сделана руки надпись для Фреи.
Do you think it still works?
The gramophone? We could give it a go.
Так, как включить? А.
It's so dark back there.
Somehow the sunlight doesn't seem to be making it very far into the room.
Ну, перевели по-уебански. Написано, что далеко свет не проникает, а написали, что вообще не проникает в переводе.
We're at the top of the tower, right?
I think so. Why?
Doesn't matter. It's nothing.
Запрещаю скипать кассеты, там одинаковый момент, интересные моменты. Мы сейчас будем долго слушать.
It's piano music.
Я такая тупая. Как чат флексит под пианино. Жесть, заживала.
That's the only door in and out of the room.
It's also on the floor.
Sure is. Guessing it's not supposed to be down there. The outline of Freya Fellow. Looks like she fell onto her back. There's a single patch of blood, right in the middle. No real signs of a struggle.
That's weird.
What?
Her feet were right up by the canvas.
So?
So she was probably standing really close to the canvas when she fell.
Let's check the case file again.
Лишь ножащий на спине. Окей.
There's a no.
That's weird.
What?
Her feet were right up by the... So she was probably standing really...
Let's check the case file again.
На груди у нее была одиночная колотая рана. Да, тогда очень странно, как будто ее реально через картину ударили.
There it is. The unfinished portrait of Flora Fellow.
So, what? Freya was killed halfway through painting it?
Looks that way.
Флора Фрей не успела закончить картину, она умерла, пока рисовала ее. Кажется, что Флора держит в руке нож, красной жидкостью на кончике ножа оказалась кровь.
Freya's painting supplies.
Краски Фрея. Все стеклянные банки треснули с одной стороны.
Freya's painting supplies.
Так.
Supposedly, Freya was working on the painting when she was...
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
Различные краски. В центре самый большой сгусток черной краски. На кисточке все еще видна засохшая красная краска.
A bunch of old books. Covered in dust now, but they look well read. A bunch of old books covered in dust now, but...
Half the room is a big open window.
I don't know if you can call it an open window. It's more like the sudden absence of wall.
A little pot plant, balanced on the window ledge.
It's the only plant in the entire room.
The whole room has a strange feeling about it.
Yeah, there might be a reason for that.
The whole room has a strange...
Yeah, there might be a reason for that.
Какая неприятная
Flora
тетка.
Fellow?
Hey, sorry to barge in. I'm sure you're still in some distress.
We need to ask you a few questions, I'm afraid.
Did you witness the murder, Flora?
И чё она молчит?
Nothing. What do we do?
Not sure. She's entitled to her silence,
Секундочку,
I
мне звонят.
suppose.
Как мне заебали предлагать кредиты? Сколько можно, блядь?
For now. Were you close with Freya? How are you two related? Did you kill Freya?
Grimoire!
What? I don't even think she's listening.
Oh, she's listening.
Anything we should know? Any hobbies? Besides staring out the window?
Хорошее хобби.
Flora,
А, это мы спрашивали.
is there anything you'd like to tell us, Flora? I don't really know anything about you at all.
I think that's the way she likes it. We'll just have to ask other people about her.
Yeah, okay.
Freya was
попробуем.
painting your portrait yesterday. Is that right?
Голос у девахи прикольный.
Was this something you had planned with her ahead of time?
Was there something special about yesterday?
Did you talk to Freya at all while she was painting you?
She's not going to answer us, is she?
Nope. but at least we can say we tried.
Мне почему-то эта игра дико напомнила квест Шерлок Холмс и собака Баскертвилей, где мы также ходим по особняку и решая головоломки, пытаясь разгадать проклятие рода, из-за которого помирает вся семья.
Не играла, не шарю. Шарю. Спасибо большое, Ник, за донат.
Nice. A real treasure chest.
How do you know there's treasure in there?
Why else would it be locked? Plus, there's a treasure map hanging directly above it. What's the deal with that painting on the front?
Not sure. We should check that treasure map too.
Так, а что тут? Тут буквы. Тут цифры. Тут символы. Мне нужно определить какой-то символ. Ну, это как будто 4i.
Nothing.
Did you check the treasure map for clues? And what about that painting on the chest itself?
Ну, а вот тут что нажать, я не очень понимаю. Тут еще видно птичек. Но она вообще, по идее, далеко. Может быть, это надо повернуть и подумать с другой стороны, как это можно смотреть, например, с севера. Надо смотреть, где есть гора. Потому что пальма достаточно далеко. Как это можно интересно посмотреть. Да, последняя буква — это сторона света. Но, может быть, я и думаю, что с какой стороны света на это смотрят. Надо ориентироваться на то, что у нас гора должна быть слева, по идее. И лучше на дракона ориентироваться. Дракон, он должен быть... Нет, дракон должен быть слева. У нас тут несколько драконов. Есть вот такой дракон. Ну, не, ну 4i, то, что это смотрит на север, это странно. Один аж на юг. Не думаю, пальмы не видно. Пальма должна быть так, достаточно далеко. Может быть, это 6h на запад?
I did it. What do I win?
Да. Так, перемеши, не надо мне говорить, пока я не догадалась.
Not bad.
Ребят, дайте самой подумать.
What was in the box?
More wooden models. These are a little different to the one on the desk.
Фигурка ребенка с зелеными волосами, женщина с седыми волосами, фигурка красно-белой птицы, фигурка широкоплечего мужчины. Деревянные фигурки были раскрашены вручную, краску нанесли не очень умело. Рядом стоит банка с красной краской и кисточка. На кисточке засохла красная краска.
A little hand-painted statue.
How can you tell it's hand-painted?
Well, the paints are right there on the desk. Also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell.
Вырезанная из дерева статуэтка мужчины с мечом в руках. Фигурка была расписана вручную, краску нанесли не очень умело. Рядом найдены желтые, синие, черные, белые краски. Они выглядят как краски Фрея.
Puffer fish?
Yes, it's also a lamp, for some reason.
It's Earth.
If Earth was made of paper and gave off a gentle pink light.
A map with a dotted line and an X marked on it.
That's a very boring way to describe a treasure map. You get a good view of the lake from here. It's a drinking horn.
Is it full of ale? Or mead, maybe?
Right now, it's just full of dust.
Oh. More maps?
No, they're just blank.
Oh.
It's a magic lamp. Can we summon the genie?
If we get really stuck, sure. That's a massive conch shell. Do you think there's a little crab living inside?
Маленький крабик.
I hope so.
Сколько тут всего осматривать?
It's kind of worn out.
I would
Здорово,
politely
Люк, ты что,
describe it
стрим
as
закончил, что
lived
ли?
in.
The entire room is made of wood.
Oh, it's not just made of wood. I think it's the actual hull of a ship. It's a barometer, but it's broken.
I've never seen a barometer that wasn't broken.
What is it?
He's an imp.
What does he do?
Well, if you tell too many lies, he appears at the end of your bed in the middle of the night.
Oh.
Так
The entire
испугался.
room is made
No, it's not just. It's the actual hull of a ship. A pencil drawing of a mountain on a moonlit night.
Mood. A lot of redundant light sources in here. Shelf junk.
A little mirror.
Definitely cursed.
It's not cursed. Not everything is cursed. An old wooden mask.
Probably
Люк, ты
cursed.
умеешь делать рейд? Смотри, слэш, рейд и мой ник.
The entire room is made of
Oh,
wood.
it's not just. I think it's the actual hull.
The entire room is
No,
made
it's
of
not. It's the actual hull. Sir? Can you hear me? I'm Private Detective Grimoire. I have some questions for you.
Grimoire. Good mysterious name. I'd rather like it. Felix Fellow at your beck and call.
And, this is my colleague, Sally.
Yeah, that's a perfectly good name as well.
Thanks.
If you would, Mr.
Имя
Fellow,
Салли
we
его не
really
очень
need to ask you
впечатлило.
about the murder.
Well, I must say I'm rather jealous of you two.
Oh yeah? Why's that?
Out here solving mysteries, exploring new places, uncovering secret rooms, hidden treasures. That's what life is all about.
Secret rooms?
Generally speaking, you know, that sort of thing.
О, мне отправят бокс по Стареллу, один я буду разыгрывать. Кайф, кайф, кайф.
Ah, you found it. What do you think, huh? I had to rush the final touches a little bit. It turned out all right, though.
What's it supposed to be?
It's Flora, of course, surrounded by all her favorite people.
Блин, как интересно, бокс по Стареллу.
I've been carving for a couple of years now. I was hopeless when I started, but it didn't take me long to master it, as you can see.
Do you paint them yourself too?
I do indeed, yes. Freya kindly taught me the basics. Nowadays, I can make just about anything I can imagine. Of course, this particular model is a self-portrait based on hard fact.
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
I own a great many, but my weapons are stored well away from Tangle Tower. Safety first and all that. Dearest Flora, A remarkable woman.
А, она его жена,
Been
ёлки-палки.
married over 20 years
Она
now.
всегда
You
молчала?
two still get on?
Of course. What a question.
She hasn't gone quiet on you.
It's true she has an independent streak. She's had it her whole life. She's the youngest of 3. Always something of a lone wolf, you know? Just the way she is.
Lone wolf is putting it lightly. She doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone.
She just likes time to herself, away from the company of other humans.
Other humans?
Well, yes, other people, you know.
Да, здесь точно какая-то мистика замешана.
Uncommonly skilled as an artist, but Freya was so much more than her talent.
Здравствуйте.
А здравствуйте, Бодя, здравствуйте. Спасибо за донат.
She helped me get started with my own painting, you know. It taught me what she knew about wood carving, too. Tremendous patience. She was ever so good with dear Flora.
Freya and Flora were close?
Oh, yes, especially recently.
How are you related to Freya?
Somewhat distantly, as it happens. My father, Lord Fellow, was her grandfather. Technically, that makes
Что?
her a
Его
fellow.
отец был ее дедушкой? То есть он ее... Сейчас, секунду. Отец? Он его сын? Она внучка? То есть они... Двоюродные? Что? Они родственники?
Let's just say there was some discussion over whether she ought to carry the name at all. There's a family tree in the Grand Hall. You should take a look at it.
What about her inheritance?
Freya's parents died when she was around 3 years old. She came to live here shortly afterwards.
Nobody left her a thing?
I'm afraid not. She had no formal claim over anything at Tangle Tower. You're the one currently basking in his presence. You tell me.
Let's move on.
Милый дядька, он точно не убийца.
So, Felix, what exactly do you do?
Is it not obvious? I'm an explorer. Explorer/treasure hunter. Yes, well, best in the world.
We're talking like curse statues, spike pits.
It's a little more sophisticated than that. But I've certainly seen my share of danger, if that's what you're asking.
And, if I may ask, when did you retire?
You listen. I may be between ventures right now, but it's simply not in my nature to stay in one place for too long. I go wherever the winds of destiny take me.
Don't you live here with your wife and daughter?
Yes, well, the fellow family has certain loyalties, and with Flora the way she is...
Все мы
Nothing
своего
wrong with
рода на
raising a family,
пенсии.
Mr. Fellow.
Don't misunderstand me. Fiona and Flora are my entire world. They are the greatest treasure of all.
Uh-huh.
Ага. Сейчас, подождите, я хочу сделать важную вещь.
Такой прихожу на стрим Элли. Думаю, послушаю прохождение, устрою мини-стендапы по рисую игры.
Бля, а
Но
как
игра
сохраниться?
оказалась слишком прикольной. Рисование, походу, подождет.
Ну, ничего, Ник, зато тебе интересно. Спасибо за донат.
Why on earth would you want to know about that?
The murder of Freya Fellow. The reason we're here.
А кто ее заказал, интересно?
Right, nasty business. Very unfortunate. I regret that I can't be of any help.
Ну, что-то точно
But
знает.
I wish you
Покрывает
all the
кого-то.
best in your investigation.
Hear that, Grimoire? We're done here. Let's go.
It's a simple question, Felix. I'm sure you're up to it.
Well, there's not much to tell. Mostly, I was in my room by myself, working on Flora's, working on a project.
Your room is quite close to Flora's tower. You didn't hear anything unusual?
What qualifies as unusual?
What have you got?
It was dusk. A feeling lingered near.
Как он рассказывает.
Perhaps uncertain as life itself.
Abridged version, please.
Right, fine. I heard someone heading down the stairs.
Блин, как классно оформленная игра, да?
The footsteps were calm.
Очень приятный визуальный стиль, прям
So I thought nothing.
наслаждение.
Shortly afterward, I heard a second set of footsteps going the same way. This time I could tell just from the sound that something was wrong. So I looked out into the hallway. I got a glimpse of Poppy disappearing down the staircase to the floor below. Didn't know what to
Поппи
make.
какая-то
To be
местная
honest,
водка.
I thought perhaps she'd had a disagreement with Fitz, as I know those two are close. So I looked into his room, just in case, but it was empty, as was the garden beyond his window. Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her. We went into Flora's room. Poor Freya was laying on the floor. Fiona, Poppy, Fitz, and Pointer were there already. Flora too, of course. Soon enough, everyone else made their excuses and left.
Including you?
Not I. I stayed. Flora needed me. It's unlike her to leave paint on the brush.
I think we'll give her a pass, given the circumstances.
Ah, yes. So we shall.
Что, прям на каждый предмет будет что-то?
Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that.
Видимо, тырит у нее краски в крысу.
That looks like it might belong to Poppy. Flora's quite fond of that old thing. It's in poor shape, though.
Do you know what happened to it?
Can't say I do.
Does Flora normally keep something in here?
She must do, but I admit I've never managed to work out what.
Why not just ask her?
I feel like if somebody keeps something locked away in a ceramic egg, it's because they don't want to be asked about it.
Rules to live by.
It would have been a beautiful painting. It's rather a shame Freya was unable to finish it.
Nothing about it seems strange to you.
Well, all these modern paintings are slightly strange, aren't they? The emotion of the piece taking over from, say, anatomical
Нихуя себе,
accuracy.
Моисеенко в Crusader Kings
What about the
пошел.
knife in Flora's hand?
A knife? That's what you see?
You don't?
Well, as I was saying, Freya's artistic approach distorts certain shapes. Hard to say exactly what we're looking at. I'm as confused as you are. Rather ugly, isn't it, as far as statues go? Years of wind and rain have not been kind to it either.
Do you know what it is? The creature, I mean.
It's connected to the Remington family history in some way, but I can't recall. What's this?
It's my case file. It's how I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
You mean to say you're bound by the limits of what's written in this
Зато
little
всё по делу.
document? Sounds dreadful.
I found it comforting.
Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the Remington family originally. Dear Flora's father
Блин,
and
дом
his,
прикольный, хочу такой в Симсе сделать.
associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings. After they moved away, Flora changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome, yes, less likely to come back.
That's kind of extreme.
Yes, it is rather, isn't it?
Ну, пойдемте. С Богом, как говорится. Чикарита мне скинула ссылку на Зин, где 2 человека. Так. Ну-ка, я хочу еще раз посмотреть древо.
What
I
is
think it's a family tree.
То есть вот, блядь, а где Флора? Вот Феликс.
Felix Fellow?
We met him. He's one of the suspects.
Вот Феликс. Он сын
Lady
Do
Fellow?
these
Лорда
people
Фэллоу. И Лорд Фэллоу, он замутил с Селеной. И потом родилась Фрея. И у Фреи был еще... Братья и сестры у нее. Подожди, нет, это Фрея. А где Флора?
Flora?
We
А,
met her.
вот Флора.
She's one of the...
Я не понимаю, как у них общий может быть родственник сейчас что-то.
Кто здесь хороший мальчик?
Типа она дочь
Кто
Ремингтона.
хороший мальчик?
Жесть. Здесь реально можно кликать вообще на все. Ну просто охуенно. Такая расслабляющая штука, когда проходишь ее не ты, на Энигме.
Да, соглашусь. Спасибо, Дан, за донат. То есть, подождите, Феликс, сын лорда Фэллоу. Он женат на Флоре, а Флора дочь Ремингтона. Ремингтон с леди Фэллоу, что ли, переспал или что? Что-то я запуталась немного. Фрея почти левая. Мы про Флору сейчас.
Flora?
We met her. She's one of the suspects.
Просто пытаюсь понять, как они с Феликсом оказались родственниками. Потому что она выглядит, что вот она их, и вот он их. Ну, троюродная и двоюродная. Ну, короче, потом разберемся. Давай сходим сюда. Каменная площадь.
A pointless little stone tower.
I don't know. Might be a good hiding place.
Wanna play hide and seek?
I could be persuaded.
Зла вопрос про Зин. Тебе пришел Зин по Стардю? Нет, нет. Они там что-то тормозят очень с отправкой, они ж писали.
There's a metal plaque on the bench.
Is there a message engraved on it?
I think there was at one point, but someone scratched it off.
It's Tangle Tower, or at least it's the mansion at the base of Tangle Tower. Bushes. A giant glowing gemstone full of plants.
AKA a greenhouse. Looks like it might be about to fall apart. Grimoire, you go first. More of that weird lake water.
Really makes me wonder how this structure is supported.
Почту с овцы надо забрать с
Are
почты.
we on an island or what?
Beats me.
Is that a clock?
If it is, it's a clock with 4 faces.
I'm guessing it doesn't tell the time.
So what does it do?
Ой, блядь, это этот тип головоломок. Короче,
Just
это,
gonna rest my brain.
видимо, наверное, я потом узнаю, как их расположить.
It's a big stone dais.
Biggest one I've ever seen. First one, too. A little bridge leading back to the gardens. Hi.
It's Tangle Tower, or at least it's the...
It's a sea serpent, turned into stone by a wizard.
If you say so. What happened to its head?
Beheaded. By the same wizard.
Гриб.
You ever see a mushroom that big before?
Not in real life.
Is that a
If it is,
reset the puzzle?
Ну, видимо, наверное, я потом узнаю, как это все правильно расположить. Это надо где-то на вот этих позициях.
Reset the puzzle? Just gonna rest my brain.
Ты сейчас
a wooden
можешь?
trunk that opens
I
up.
want one. Is that a
If
clock?
it is,
Там на часах за силуэтом видны цифры. Так. Там на часах за силуэтом видны цифры. С каким силуэтом?
Just gonna rest my brain.
Мне уже, чтобы они все были вон там, что ли?
Is that
if it
a
is,
Смотри в линзы на стрелку. Я смотрю, нихуя не вижу. Я даже не понимаю, как вы и где увидели цифры. Ну вот это цифра 12, окей, ладно, это я увидела. Так, вот это цифра 12, а остальные какие цифры? Я не понимаю! Как вы поняли, что первая это тройка? Я хоть убей, не вижу тройку. А, вижу. Так, это тройка, это 12. Это девятка. Тройка, девятка, 12. Или вот это наоборот девятка, а вот это шестерка. То есть вот это шестерка. Блядь, я ненавижу такие головоломки.
reset the puzzle?
Блядь. Ну, тут должна быть на тройке, тут должна быть на шестерке, тут на 12, тут на 9. Блядь. Я ненавижу, где нужно располагать
Reset the
такие
puzzle.
стрелки, они везде зависят друг от друга. У меня очень плохо с такими головоломками. Подождите, вот это я сейчас ее кручу, она же девятка. Вот, это девятка. Это... Не, подожди, вот это девятка. А, это шестерка все-таки. Вот это шестерка, вот это шестерка, вот это девятка. Ага.
Reset the puzzle.
Блять.
Reset the puzzle.
Ой, ребят, это мы надолго.
No.
So, moving any is like cogs on a machine.
Да, блять. Так, вот эти зависят друг от друга. Да блять! Так, ща, я отойду в туалет, я очень хочу писать, вернусь со свежими силами.
Reset the puzzle.
Какие же бесячие головоломки. Ну что за сюжетом на следующий стрим?
Блин, я наушники переехала креслом. Так, девочки, я вернулась со свежими силами. Все нормально. Я готова.
No, that was it.
Я же говорила, надо просто сходить в туалет. Меня сбивал наполненный мочевой пузырь.
Nice work. What's in the box?
A little tool thing? Looks like a telescope, but I'm not actually sure what it is.
Небольшой минный инструмент с выгодной стеклянной линзой оснащен винтом.
Nothing there.
Ой.
Nice cape.
You're not fellows or pointers. I'm sure I shall immediately regret asking. But who are you, and what is your business here?
I'm Sally, and this is my sidekick Grimoire.
Донат был.
Private detective.
О, спасибо, Ник, за донат.
Really? You're a detective. If this is a joke, it's not a good one.
Who are you anyway?
Private Detective Hawkshaw.
Она тоже детектив.
Nice. Hawkshaw's a cooler name than Grimoire. Maybe I'll become her sidekick.
You're not on the Freya fellow case too, are you?
That is classified information between myself and my client. Clearly, this is something which eludes you. But a real detective refrains from handing out informations to persons unknown.
Oh, right.
Now, if you would, I have work to do. 314 cases solved.
То есть она не живет в этом доме.
114. It's not in my interest to discuss personal details.
Even if you're one of the suspects in a murder?
Very well. Let us make a small exception.
Или она живет в этом доме?
Ask.
Как она может
Oh,
тогда
what are you
расследовать
doing
это
here?
дело? Она
I'm on a
вовлеченное
case
лицо.
at the behest of my client.
How long have you been at Tangle Tower?
133 hours. 5.5 days.
Who are you working for?
I am not at liberty to answer that. Now, I shall permit you one more question.
What crime are you...
How'd you get that scar? It's cool.
You really think so?
Салли нашла подход.
As it happens, I completed an examination of Flora's room on the morning before the murder. I've been investigating every single room at Tangle Tower. Hers is one
То
of
есть
the
тут
last
еще
on
что-то
my list.
произошло?
Did you find anything unusual?
Nothing but a thin layer of dust and an atmosphere of somber melancholy.
Was Flora in there at the time?
She spent the duration of my search staring up at the sky, out the open window. Didn't say a word, although I'm told this is the expected behavior.
What did you do after that?
I spent the early evening searching the library. It took longer than it should have. Fiona leaves that room in a permanent state of disarray.
Fiona was in the library too?
I expected her to make an appearance, but she did not.
And you stayed in the library the rest of the day?
Not quite. Towards the early evening, my examination of the library was unexpectedly disrupted. Sounds of running, wailing, shouting from several floors above. I
Какие
vacated
здесь у
the
всех голоса
library,
приятные.
but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared. He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the fellow staircase. Our eyes met. He was breathless. Something had caused him great alarm. He told me to stay out of the way. I consented. I decided to return to my office in the stone square. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me.
Короче, чекайте. Фрейя обладала способностью оживлять картины, ее захуярила картина. Это самоубийство.
She was clutching the banister of the Pointer staircase with an apprehensive manner. She wished to know where Professor Pointer had gone. I told her what had transpired. Then, she too crossed the hall and disappeared up the fellow staircase. More so than at any moment prior, I felt like quite an intruder in the house. I took my leave, out towards the stone square. The grounds were silent. There were no signs of human life. Even the greenhouse was without its typical inhabitant. I noted that he, too, must be entangled in whatever was transpiring in Fellow Tower. An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance.
Либо
He
убийца
spoke to me of
садовник.
what had occurred. His report was as clumsy and cumbersome as the man giving it.
Did he seem upset?
He was rattled, that much was clear, but sorrowful, mournful, I cannot say. Quite the stoic statue, isn't she? I can only dream of being as cold and indifferent as Flora Fellow.
You think she's hiding something?
Perhaps. She has some strange habits. I heard she barely sleeps, an hour here or there, sporadically. Spends the rest of her time staring up at the sky. Did you get anything useful out of him?
Not sure. What about you?
Nothing worth committing to paper.
I think he knows more than he lets on.
Probably. But talking with him is so tedious.
А по-моему, прикольный мужик.
Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at Tangle Tower. Within a day, she had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
You couldn't have known she was about to be killed, though.
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you, Detective.
Детектив.
This belongs to you, Hawkshaw?
Correct.
And, what is it?
It's my handheld microscope for up-close investigation work.
What do you magnify with it?
Trace particles, Dust, oils, clothing fibers.
Have you used it here at Tangle Tower?
I have. I used it to examine the greenhouse only 2 days ago.
What were you
Видим
looking
ли мы
for?
ее глаза? Огромная
That is
загадка.
between myself and my client. I'd tell him not to quit his day job, but he hasn't got one, has he? These figurines remind me of a case I once solved involving a possessed doll. Turned out to be a bit of a smokescreen, as these things often do.
Your life sounds fun. Grimoire, why don't we ever have fun adventures like that?
Are we not having a fun adventure right at this very moment?
The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Do you know that? How? Because you were told?
Жесть, какая она умная.
Paints?
Yep.
Paints.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was in Flora's room yesterday, but it was not cracked when I saw it last. A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
Жесть, Салли чисто подкатывает, она такая лесбиянка.
What a cop-out.
You got it open. I'm impressed. I managed it myself yesterday. I thought Flora might be hiding something in there.
It was empty yesterday, too.
It was. Perhaps it's always been empty. Makes quite an impression, doesn't it? Although I can't imagine why she painted Flora wielding a knife.
You didn't see a knife anywhere in Flora's room, did you?
I did not. I conclude whatever stabbed Freya must have been brought into the room from outside. Unless, of course, it was the painting itself.
Surely you don't believe in that kind of thing.
A detective's job is to examine every avenue of thinking. Conveniently left anonymous. It's useless until you can prove to whom it concerns. Can you do that?
No.
No. Have you deciphered the meaning of those 4 symbols on the harp?
We're working on it.
That's a no, then. You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
No organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
Уже чат проверил типы личности героев.
Tangle
Дайте угадаю,
Tower.
Фрейя была
No idea
посредником.
why they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so. Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
Huh. I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like that.
Ну, я бы
I
так
was
не говорила.
disappointed too.
AKA a greenhouse.
Ну, пообщаемся с садовником в теплице. Бля, господи да боже.
This one's in a little pot.
Okay, that is definitely not edible.
It looks like a gemstone, don't you think?
Фрукт в горшке с твердой, похожей на самоцвет кожурой. Почва в горшке имеет необычный синий цвет.
A little chart of... actually, I have no idea what it's about.
Выглядит как
Kind of
головоломка.
reminds me of a periodic table.
What do you make of it?
Not a whole lot.
It's bigger in here than I thought it would be.
Фрей НФП? Как неожиданно, что на НФП. Жесть.
That's a handsome beetle. Looks like he
А
might
главные
have magic
герои кто?
powers.
Is that fruit? It's shaped like fruit.
Too shiny to be fruit.
ГГ ЕНТП?
I think it's glowing a little too.
Safe to eat, do you think?
I'm gonna say no. Hanging baskets. They're so high up.
To you, maybe.
You're only 2 inches taller than me.
2 inches makes all the difference.
All the flowers here look kind of poisonous.
Can flowers be poisonous?
Anything can be poisonous.
Good to know. Is that fruit? It's shaped
Too
like...
shiny to be fruit. It's glowing.
Safe to eat.
I'm gonna say no. Bags of soil.
It's so blue. It's bigger in here than I thought it would be.
Tools. Used by a gardener. For gardening.
Жесть, она такая
Hanging
умная.
baskets. They're so high up.
To you, maybe.
You're only
2 inches makes all. Sally, don't move. We're being watched.
Yeah, I see him.
Ух, какой
He's
мужчина.
a little
Я
too
вообще думала,
big to
что
hide
это
in the
женщина.
bushes. Is anyone going to say anything? Or shall we just stand around staring at each other?
Right, sorry. Sorry.
That's better.
Ну, как у него
I'm
голос.
Sally. And the guy hiding behind me is Detective Grimoire. Who are you?
Fitzfellow, the gardener.
Mm-hmm. And why are you so tall?
I don't know.
You work here as the gardener.
I don't get paid to do it. It's just my area of
Он
interest.
похож на какую-то
What's the deal
грустную
with the
собаку или
plants?
овечку.
Kinda weird.
Right. Did you see the lake?
That giant green and purple lake surrounding the entire house? Yeah, I clocked it.
The color is just a byproduct.
Of what? Poison?
It's not poisonous. Not to you.
What's this got to do with the plants?
The water controls all life, just like anywhere else on the planet. Clouds form, rain falls. The water grows the plants, animals eat the plants. Anything you've perceived as an irregularity is simply a result of this hydrological cycle.
Could you say that again, but like condense it as if you were talking to a slightly...
О,
stupid
Дашка,
person?
привет, спасибо за рейд. Ты тут пришла
Our
на
lake
сексуальном
water
мужчине.
causes the unpredictable alteration of DNA. Sometimes.
Они мутанты.
Like mutation.
That'd be the official term. For us, it's normal. Just nature.
And you're the local expert on all this stuff?
No. I'm just the gardener.
I'm just a gardener.
I was in my greenhouse, watering and weeding.
Sounds exciting.
Was anyone else around?
Not at first. Penelope came in a
Господи, да
little
Пенелопа
later.
везде
She
успела
likes
побывать.
looking at the flowers, I think.
А может быть, на
Did
тебя?
you speak to each other?
A little, not too much. We both left the greenhouse in the early afternoon. I went up to my room. Then I came back outside to weed the main gardens. Didn't see anyone else. After that, I went up to the garden outside my room.
And?
Let me guess. Watering and weeding.
Right.
Did anything happen to you yesterday, Fitz?
I was up in the rooftop garden. It was quiet. And then, it wasn't. I can't describe it. Could have been a scream, but it didn't sound human. We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
We?
Да, с кем это он
Poppy was
был?
with me. Did I not mention that? Flora's room was locked. That's normal. She
Блин,
usually
мечтаю
locks it from the
познакомиться с Поппи,
inside.
она такая
I
годка.
knocked on the door and shouted. Nobody
Тарелка
responded.
пельмешей где
We
можно найти? Я
became
сейчас сразу
concerned.
туда пойду.
You kicked the door down?
I did. Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back. Flora was there too, but I barely noticed her at first. Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too.
Фифи там
Penelope
была?
arrived
А
shortly
упоминали о
after that,
Фифи?
with Felix in tow. I thought that was odd. You don't normally see the two of them together. Felix took charge. There was nothing else I could do to help. I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything. I found her pacing back and forth around the stone square. When I approached her, she snapped at me. I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long.
Фифи, это
When I
Фиона?
told her about
А,
Freya,
окей.
she fell silent. I like Flora. I hope she's all right.
Do you think she had anything to do with the murder?
There's no way. She wouldn't willingly cause any
Фокшоу
additional
краш? Ой,
suffering
Ганган, не
for
удивлена,
anyone.
что она тебе нравится. Это твой типаж
Felix
женщин.
is a contradiction. His loyalties are placed firmly within the realm of materialism, money, property. But his ego relies on an entirely fraudulent self-image, don't you think?
I was just about to say the same thing.
She questioned me.
About what?
My work, the plants, bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure?
А Ганган
Maybe
проходил
she
эту
did it
игру.
when you weren't in
Он
there.
писал в телеге.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me, I can tell. She was always kind to me. She'd come into the greenhouse when I was working.
Вторая Поппи
Sometimes
напротив
by
лесу, комнаты
herself,
справа. Хорошо.
sometimes with Poppy. I think they were just bored at first. Eventually, they started asking questions.
About what?
Poppy wanted to learn about flowers. Freya, she used to ask me about the insects.
Insects?
One of my jobs is to protect plants from things that might eat them. Freya brought me this little glass box, leaves and twigs inside. She'd say, put all the troublemakers in there. Every day I'd put a handful of beetles and other things in the box. Then she'd come along and take it away. I didn't really understand her, but she was always kind.
Have you met this guy, Fitz? Shifty eyes, doesn't say a lot. Totally suspicious, if you ask me.
That's me.
Yeah, that's... It was a joke. I was joking.
Oh, I see. It's of no interest to me, but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about it once.
What were they saying?
They were arguing about something, but I can't remember the details.
Предел кларскую насекомых, вот мне тоже кажется.
Paints are different to flowers.
I'd say so, yeah.
At any time, flowers can bloom with perfect, faultless colors. Red, blue, white. With paint, once you've tainted a color by mixing it with others, not even the most skilled painter can return it to its pure form.
Жесть, ауф.
There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly. This is a good example of how things work. I mix that soil here in the greenhouse. It's made with water from the lake.
And it makes the fruit grow all shiny and gemstony?
Sometimes. You never really know what's going to happen.
And what do you do with this shiny and edible fruit?
You look at it.
Справедливо.
That looks like it might belong to Poppy. That belongs to Poppy.
So why is
Все
it
в
up
этом
in
доме
Forest Tower?
принадлежит Поппи.
I'm not sure.
What do you think that is in Flora's hand?
I don't know. It does look like a knife, but Flora wasn't holding anything at all when I saw her, after the murder. But there's something bothering me. Something else.
What?
When we went into Flora's room, she wasn't standing in this position.
Well, she probably would have moved around a little bit by then.
She wasn't standing at all. She
Хорошо,
was kneeling
тарелки
on the
мешай.
floor. How odd. It's an egg with feet.
It was locked, but we opened it, but it was empty.
Fun story.
У кого что-то знает об этом яйце.
Nice painting. Gives you a pretty good idea of the layout.
The lake looks like it forms a perfect circle around the island.
It might seem strange to you, but nature is quite capable of producing perfectly geometric forms.
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable. Not even Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
This painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
So Freya just made it up.
Let's call it an informed
А,
estimation.
серьезно? Это все это время был портрет, рисунок Фрейи? Я
You
даже не
ever
знала.
seen this before, Fitz?
No, but I don't normally go into Fifi's room.
That's not where we found it.
Oh, I just thought it looks like it belongs to her. Felix made that? Huh. That's quite sweet, really.
Ну, приятный дядька.
Who gave you that information?
Well...
Я
We
так и не
don't
поняла,
actually
кто
know
их
who it
заказал.
was. We were
А,
contacted anonymously.
I see. And what happens if the person who contacted you turns out to be the murderer?
I never thought about that.
Honestly, that would be kind of fun. Like a twist, you know? Fitz's room is unlocked. It's up in the Fellow Tower.
This could be interesting.
блядь, куда я пошла? Комната Фитца. А, мы в его комнату. А чё она такая бомжатская?
Oh, wow.
What?
It's a big empty space. Huh. Neither of these lights have an actual light bulb.
They're just decorative.
Oh, so decorative. An empty glass and an empty plate.
Looking at it is making me want to cry.
Why?
I don't know.
It's a little handmade card. Someone's drawn a heart on the front. Inside it says, "To Fitz, from PP."
That poor plant.
Looks pretty healthy to me.
Healthy, but sad. I think it would rather be outside.
There's someone outside the window.
Something outside the window. It's probably just a rock.
You sure? It's locked, but it leads outside.
I thought we were halfway up a tower.
We are.
What's that thing by the handle?
Он.
Let's come back once we know. Hello.
Not hidden very well, is it?
Doesn't need to be. It's locked. It's a combination. Sort of.
Я так понимаю, надо будет найти еще оставшиеся. Потому что, судя по всему, тут не хватает чего-то. Слушай, вот один мы узор можем собрать. Можем. Ну вот один листочек мы знаем. Что вот он такой, стрелочка вниз. У нас есть еще вот такой листочек. А в каждом столбике разные листья. Но вот это, по-моему, идеально похож. Но вот эти первые два, они вроде да. Такой листочек есть.
Nothing.
Maybe if you move the paper around.
Still
I
locked.
think the line's drawn on the...
That
It looks
was.
like it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
That
It
was.
looks like it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
That
It
was.
looks like a jigsaw puzzle.
Нет, наверное, тогда скорее вот этот. Все-таки, блин. Да, вот это скорее вот этот.
There we go.
Perfect. Anything in there?
Yeah, it's wrapped in a cloth. Hold on. Huh. That's kind of ominous.
Ой. Изукрашенный совок. На нем выгравированы узоры, а по обе стороны сердечко инициала. Пипи и фуфу. Может, Пенелопа мутит с Фитцем, нет?
What
I
is...
think it's a family.
У нас есть
Penelope,
Пенелопа
do you think she still lives here?
Уинтер и Фитц Фэллоу.
We
Fitz.
met him. He's one of the...
Может, они реально мутят? У них мутки?
Sally, check those plants for clues.
Is soil a clue? A door.
Oh, what's behind it?
A room. This one, how very
Смотрели.
Finally, we get to investigate a murder in a spooky mansion.
It's not that spooky, really.
Don't ruin this. We should try and be finished before it gets dark. No pressure. Finally, we don't ruin this.
This is yours, Fitz?
Yeah,
Do you use it?
I keep all my tools in the greenhouse.
That wasn't what she
Я,
asked.
честно, вообще хз, кто на эту игру донатил. Я могу, конечно, попробовать посмотреть, но я уже вообще без понятия, кто это мог быть. Ну, то есть, если посмотреть... На нее человек пришел, закинул 5000 и ушел. Когда я вообще придумала концепт сбора, в принципе? Чу. Вот, некий Чу задонатил на это 5000 в декабре. Музыкальная комната. О, здорово.
Are they paper lanterns?
Whatever they are, I like them. It's like a little parade of floating spirits.
Sheet music. It's handwritten.
That's a lot of notes. Looks pretty difficult.
Probably while they're on the floor.
Ну, я Чу очень давно не видела. Я не знаю даже, где Чу. Вот. Этот человек последний раз донатил в мае, что играет Сыкай, и немножечко был на аукционах в марте. То заказ доставки висит, верни блюдечки, Аделия.
Oh, whatever it is, it's playing a little trumpet.
Well, it is the music room. He's got to practice.
What's with all the broken glass?
Статуя с горном. По всей линии горна проходит заметная трещина. В корне и вокруг статуи валяются осколки.
There's a faded mural on the wall.
When I was a kid, I never knew the difference between a mural and a mosaic.
You still don't know, do you?
No.
А в чем
Who
разница,
plays the
чат? Кто
violin, I
расскажет?
wonder?
It's pretty dusty, so I'm guessing nobody.
Nobody.
It's a globe.
Nobody.
For globing. One old wooden bookcase.
Yep.
25 dry old books.
Mm-hmm.
4 lit candles.
Как он умел считать?
Yeah.
Am I the only one seeing the problem?
Smells like a forest in here.
All right, you got your wish.
Spooky murder mansion?
Spooky murder mansion. There's a faded mural on the wall.
When I was a kid,
You still don't know, do you?
No.
It's one of those big pianos with the open lids.
Don't touch it.
Why not?
Might be haunted.
That's just daylight, right?
What else would it be?
All right, you got your wish.
Spooky
murder mansion.
Как это такая? Чё?
Are you a ghost?
Sally, that's rude. Unless she is a ghost.
It may come as a disappointment, but I am alive.
Ah,
That makes you a suspect, I'm afraid.
I know.
what's your name?
My name is Poppy. I'm a pointer. And a pianist.
We'll need to ask you a few questions about Freya.
I know.
Hey, you're pretty good.
All in the wrist.
В музыке иногда ловлю вайбы
And
транзистора.
14 years of dedicated practice.
Ой.
I'm just me. There's nothing to know.
How are you related to the other pointers?
My father is Percival Pointer. The professor spends most of his time hidden away in his tower. Barely speaks to anyone these days. Especially not the fellows.
Do you get on with the fellows?
2 of them. Fifi and Freya are my closest friends. We all turned 19 last year.
Do people ever leave Tangle Tower? I don't mean to be rude. It's just, if you're 19...
You don't have to answer that, Poppy.
It's a fair question. I'd like to move away.
Ты играла в
Definitely.
транзистор?
Fifi
Да,
and
но
Freya
мне не
and I would
особо
often
зашло.
talk about it, argue about it. Freya wanted to leave, but Fifi, things are more complicated for her.
What about now?
After what happened, I really don't want to stay here much longer. 3.5 hours of piano practice. Soon as I wake up. Same as always.
3.5.
Интернет
Does that not hurt your
говорит, что
hands?
мозаика это картина из отдельных кусочков, а фреска неотделима от стены.
Sure.
And you do this in the music room?
No, I prefer to practice in my
Сколько еще
room.
будет стрим?
When I
Еще,
make
думаю,
mistakes,
часа
I like
полтора.
to make them in private.
What did you do after that?
I was supposed to meet Fifi in the library, but I totally forgot. When I finally got down there, she'd already gone. I checked her bedroom, but it was locked.
Was Fifi not in there?
No idea. She keeps her door locked either way. So I went back upstairs and out into the moonlight garden.
The what?
The little garden on the roof outside my room.
Was it just you up there?
No. Fitz came outside after a while. His room's on the other side. He's been teaching me about flowers.
So, did you talk to him?
Not really.
You ignored each other.
I didn't say that. Fitz and I were up in the moonlight garden most of the afternoon.
Они
and I
точно
heard
мутят.
this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds. I've been trying to decide how to describe it.
Видимо, ее батя против этих отношений.
It was like something drilling into a piece of metal, but different. Worse. I was pretty sure it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there to check. Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. I knew Freya and Flora were both supposed to be in there, so I made Fitz kick down the door. I went inside.
Меня пугает, что у нее очень
Freya
длинная
was lying
голова.
on the floor.
Как у, знаете, этих статуй
Flora was in the
египетских.
room too?
Yeah. I think she realized what had happened at the same moment I did. I didn't know what to do. So I ran downstairs to get Fifi. Her door was still locked, but I knocked and shouted at her. Eventually she let me in. The lights were off, but I could see she'd already been crying. I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry. First time I've ever seen her angry. I dragged her out into the hall. My father was there too, for some reason. The 3 of us went back up to Flora's tower. Then Felix arrived. He had Penny with him. Fifi had this idea. She wanted to do some kind of scientific test.
А
She
трупом?
took me down to the
Ага.
library. We were in there about 15 minutes. After she was done, she went back upstairs and I went back to my room.
That's it?
That's it. Softly does the flower grow.
Ничего себе, она
All in
профица,
time,
как
and
говорит.
time is slow. Rest a seed within the earth, but do not rush its gentle birth. Hour by hour, day by day, tune your heart to nature's way.
Пон.
That's me. I'm on a list of murder suspects. Always thought that would be kinda cool, but it's just tedious.
Falls a little short, doesn't it?
Hard of head, but free of mind. Unimprisoned, unconfined. With starry eyes, she sees beyond. Behind our walls, beneath our pond. A soul untied, it's hers, it's free. Was then, is now, will ever be. With
Она про всех
certain
читает
tide,
стихи.
the waves are thrown. an entity of all its own. But on its surface you may see, reflected in the waters be, the orchestrator, pale and still, pulling strings, enacting will. Foregone drifter, holding fast, days as shadow seeker past. Is it bravery or surrender, accepting that your world will render nothing darker than the gloom some four walls make around a room? Needless noise from tongues expel, unless within the mouth they dwell. The spoken word, unfit for dealing with the shifting form of feeling, stand unblinking in the face of taciturn and soundless space.
Does this belong to you, Poppy?
Да, на
Well,
английском
that's not
стихи
really my
приятнее.
style,
Ну, они пытались
is it?
адаптировать
But who
переводчики.
else would own a tape like this?
Literally anybody. It was my mother's originally.
So, why is it up in Flora's room?
She just gets the most use out of it. Freya would borrow it too sometimes. Don't look at me. I didn't break it.
Does anybody else use the music room?
Yes. I don't know who, but I can tell when somebody else has touched the piano. Oh, you've been to the greenhouse? What did you think?
Impressive, I guess. But kind of unsettling, with Fitz lurking in the shadows the whole time.
Yeah, he does that. Is that a gardening trowel?
Yeah, I think it belongs to Fitz.
Really? Huh, never seen him use it.
Не, они начнем мутить с Фитцем, либо она пиздит.
What was inside?
Nothing.
Huh. When I first saw it, I thought it looked like Flora was holding a knife, with blood on the tip.
You don't think that anymore?
No, it was a stupid thing to say. The room was dark. I was in shock. I'm just an idiot.
But it was blood on the tip. If you hadn't said
Юрий
anything, maybe
похорошела
Fifi wouldn't
после
have checked.
литературного клуба.
Сравнил. Спасибо, Ник, за
Exactly.
донат.
It's stupid.
But we would have missed out on an important clue.
Is it a clue? Really? Tell me how it's a clue. Tell me how it helps. Nothing about the knife makes any sense. It's just freaking everyone out. Wish I'd never said anything. Don't you think that's weird? That the letter isn't addressed to anyone? Or signed by anyone?
Someone's being deliberately secretive.
Or they're trying to manipulate you? Did you find that in Fifi's room?
Все думают, что это
No.
Фифина.
Should we have?
No, it's just... It looks like something she'd use, don't you think?
Мы не знаем, мы не видели.
Whose paints are those?
They belong to Felix, I think.
Is that supposed to be Flora?
Possibly?
Oh, how nice. Freya would always load up the palette with all the exact colors she was gonna need. I think it helped her zone out and focus on the actual painting itself. Like getting all your sheet music lined up before playing a long piece.
Right. So the blob of black paint in the middle, that was for painting Flora?
Flora's dress, yeah. She wears even more black than I do. Why is the glass cracked down one side?
Natural wear and tear, maybe?
No way.
Мне нравится
Freya took
анимация
good care of her
волос
stuff.
Поппи.
What do you make of this statue?
I know that's the only harp in the whole of Tangle Tower. I've never actually seen a real one.
Maybe it's from before your time.
Oh, definitely. You see how old this statue is?
What about the symbols? One of them looks like piano keys.
Yeah, weird. There's something I noticed about Freya's knife wound.
Hit me.
From what we could tell, the blade went in at an exact right angle, perpendicular to Freya's body. And there's only one small pool of blood. Nothing on Freya's hands, or anywhere else. The whole thing is just a little too... peaceful.
So there are two families living in Tangle Tower?
Mm-hmm. 3 pointers and 5 fellows. 4 fellows.
What's the connection between them?
There isn't one. Not really. It was all built by the Remington family. Flora is a Remington, originally. So was Primrose, my mother. She married into the Pointers, and Flora married into the Fellows.
So, the Fellows and the Pointers own the house now?
Flora owns the house. Depending on who you ask, that means her husband Felix owns it too.
What about your father?
His claim over the house kind of fell apart after my mother left.
Where's your mother now?
No idea.
Жесть, конечно, у них семья интересная.
All right. Poppy's bedroom is unlocked.
I wonder what's in there.
Комната Поппи.
Sheet music.
It's only a few notes. I'd barely even call that music.
Yeah, it's been framed though. Must be important for some reason.
Ноты в рамке украшены изысканными старомодными иллюстрациями.
There's a name for this kind of piano. You know, these ones that stand upright. Oh, thank goodness, there are 7 lit candles.
Ему не нравится цифра 4, он как Миста, что ли?
Wouldn't want it to be dark in here. Various handmade posters.
What do you think those symbols mean?
Hopefully, nothing.
У нее
It's a
такая
metronome
комната интересная,
for
мне
keeping
очень
time.
нравится.
It's ticking. Is it a bomb?
It's supposed to be ticking. Not sure what those symbols are, though.
Блядь, это опять головоломки! За что мне это нахуй? Я же так люблю... Блядь, так я люблю головоломки. Просто обосраться. То есть у меня должны получиться вот такие символы.
Reset the puzzle.
Nothing.
We can't rotate the pendulums directly.
Так, а что я не так сделала? Вот это получилось, вот это получилось. Я не то что-то все-таки сделала.
Still locked.
The symbols.
Yeah, I think they're the same.
Reset the puzzle. Reset the puzzle.
That
So,
was
pressing them seems to rotate those 2 pendulums by... Shouldn't be too hard to get all.
Спасибо, что повернуть все 4 диска метронома.
Reset the puzzle.
Сколько ты еще будешь стримить? Хороший вопрос, Илюш.
I did it. What do I win?
Думаю, еще один часик.
Not bad. What happened?
A little hatch unlocked in the back.
Anything in there?
Mm-hmm. It's a photograph. Heart of a photograph.
На порной фотографии изображена белокурая девчонка в розовой одежде. Девочка на фотографии держит ярко-розовый аудиоплеер с наушниками подходящего цвета. Это Флора? Или это Поппи? Фрей, точнее.
Anything in the drawers?
Nothing you need to know about. It's an octopus.
No, it has Don't say it.
Sextopus.
Секстопус.
Anything in the wardrobe?
Dresses mostly. I never realized there were so many shades of black.
Just a bunch of clothes on the floor. Nothing weird about that.
To you.
A lamp. It is most definitely turned off.
Gloomy.
But roomy.
Глуми бодруми.
More handwritten sheet music.
Just a bunch of clothes on the floor. Nothing weird about
To
that.
you.
A single red rose. How very traditional.
Yeah. Weird.
Oh, thank goodness. Wouldn't want it to be dark. A big glass door leads out into a garden. Somehow.
There's a little mechanism by the handle.
Ну как понять, куда мне их поставить? Есть ли какой-то смысл в этом расположении?
I guess we'll come back later.
Сейчас, подождите, может быть, это по нотам, которые у меня в инвентаре? Нет, вряд ли ноты тут что-то имеют в виду.
What do you think this...
Hopefully... It's a little inside. It says to fit, and
Looking
why?
I don't know.
It's locked.
I thought,
We are.
what's that thing by the handle?
А, точно, у них же они одинаковые. Вот они расположены вот так.
Let's come back once we...
A big glass.
There's a little mechanism.
Может, мне их надо расположить, как они были в той комнате.
I guess we'll come back later.
Тарел перемешай. Ну, ты что ты не
We
подсказывай.
are.
What's that thing by the handle?
Я сама с собой рассуждаю.
It made a noise.
I guess that was right. And the door.
I still feel like we made some. A big glass.
There's a little mechanism.
Something
That
happened.
must be it. Finally, it's open.
Whatever's on the other side better be worth it.
Сад на крыше. Ой, красиво.
It's another little statue, doing a really bad job of hiding in the bushes.
Ой, Валмар, это не ты донатил? Хотя нет, по идее, ты же можешь ленивый.
He's playing a lute this time.
He's also wearing headphones.
Well, they're not part of the statue. And they're not headphones. They're earmuffs.
На голове у статуи плотные наушники. Интересно.
It's a rose bush, growing on a little patch of bluish soil. Apart from a couple of loose petals on one side, the whole thing looks very well cared for.
The roses are bright red, too.
Слушай, Валмар, ну сейчас один стрим точно отсидим.
Aren't roses
Что последующее, не
normally that
знаю.
color?
Exactly.
A little pond.
It looks really, really deep for some reason. See those metal bars around the edges, too?
Oh yeah. What do you suppose they're for?
Nothing anymore. Looks like somebody broke them and then never bothered to fix it. That's one big dragonfly.
Or one very small dragon. Ah, a little water feature.
It's making me sleepy.
Wonder how it's hooked up.
Giant stone frog? Love it.
Ah, he's got his tongue out like he's catching snowflakes.
Except those aren't snowflakes. They're feathers.
Что перья был найден на языке большой каменной лягушки.
It's the window into Fitz's bedroom.
You know, he's pretty lucky. I wish my bedroom window had a view this nice.
It's the door into Fitz's
One
room.
of only 2 ways to get into the garden.
Oh, yeah.
More egg statues.
I don't get it. Why eggs?
Well, either they have some special significance, or the sculptor was just really lazy.
What do you mean?
An egg has got to be the easiest shape to make.
Не знаю, яйца, очень много рептилий, которые из яиц вылезают. Может, они все рептилоиды?
I don't get it. Why eggs?
Well, either they have some special significance, or the sculptor. An egg has got to be the easiest.
Oh, good. A bridge. I'm glad to know there's a way to get across that tiny, tiny pond.
Not all bridges are about getting across stuff.
Be careful, we're pretty high up.
Yeah, we're on a roof.
Stone pillars, or what's left of them. Trees. On a roof.
In a garden.
Mm-hmm. In a garden. On a roof.
А то мы не поняли.
It's so relaxing. I might just stay here.
Oh, shall I go finish the investigation on my own?
That'd be great.
Люблю, целую.
О, спасибо большое, Ангу. Спасибо, Здана. Так, разрешите доебаться.
I see a lot of birds up in the rooftop garden. They seem to really like it up there.
Why's that?
It's quiet.
Do you know where those earmuffs came from?
I put them there.
Why?
I found them lying around. I think they belong to Fitz. I put them on the statue so he'd see them. I thought they looked like headphones. Like he's in the recording studio with his guitar. No?
If they do belong to Fitz, he hasn't taken them back yet. When did you find them?
This morning.
Where?
I don't know, in a hallway. Can't remember exactly. I don't know what that
Да
is.
кому ты врешь?
Weird, considering we found it hidden in your room.
Well, my room is full of junk. There's probably a bunch of stuff hidden in there.
Небось, это она раньше так выглядела, а потом
I
стала
don't mean
готкой.
Please stop talking to me. Yeah, it's mine.
What's so special about it?
I got it from my teacher. It's the first piece I ever learned.
How long have you been playing?
Since the day I turned 6. Family tradition. I was really excited to start learning. As soon as I got out of my first lesson, I told Freya and Fifi all about it. When I arrived at my second lesson the next day, Freya was there too. She hadn't asked permission, just showed up. For 2 whole years, the teacher taught us both.
Was Freya any good?
She would have been even better than me, if she'd stuck with it. But one day, she just stopped coming to lessons.
Why?
That's just it. There was no reason. That's when I realized things were different for her.
Can you play the tune for us?
Sure. It's literally 8 notes. I have it memorized.
Так, окей. Давайте к Фитцу сбегаем заодно.
Wait, those are mine, the earmuffs. They went missing about a week ago.
What do you need earmuffs for?
I use them for gardening sometimes.
Why? You don't own a chainsaw, do you?
No. I wear them while I'm gardening, and it stops people from trying to talk to me.
That's genius.
Any idea who this is?
No idea.
Пиздит.
Poppy's piano music. I remember when she started learning. She's improved a lot since then.
Yeah, that's generally how it works.
Right. Of course.
Блин, здесь если он какой-нибудь оборотень.
We found these up in the rooftop garden. Do you know how long they've been there?
No, could have been a long time. We don't ever really clear up the
Короче, одна
rooftop
семья
garden.
вампиры, другая оборотни.
Nature is unruly. In truth, it prefers to be left alone. What's with the broken glass?
Ладно, сделаем приятное тарелки пельмешей. Птичник. Вау. Это, ну, просто обычные перчатки.
What's with those little windows down there?
I think they're there for draining rainwater.
Oh. My little writing desk. It's kind of cute.
There's nothing written in the book, although someone's torn a page out of the middle. Check out that butterfly.
Looks evil.
Wow, judgmental. They're bird cages, but the birds are coming and going freely.
Is that a metaphor?
Oh, it totally is. They're bird cages. Oh, it totally is. I don't like mirrors. They steal your soul.
How do you get your hair so symmetrical without using a mirror?
I do it by weight. I can feel if one side is heavier than the other.
Она подстригает свои волосы, как кусты. Они все мутанты в этом мире.
Bird diagrams. Hand-painted.
They're beautiful. Someone really knows their stuff.
Bird
They're
diagrams.
beautiful.
An especially fancy cage.
And it's home to 3 especially fancy birds.
Цветастые птицы в тяжелой вычурной клетке.
A rather magnificent bush. Somewhat cruelly confined to a stone pot.
There's a letter P carved into the side.
Does this count as being outdoors?
Yeah. No. Doesn't matter.
I feel like I'm standing in a giant bird cage.
Check out that book.
Looks evil.
Wow. Judgmental.
What's with those little...
I think they're there for draining.
Does this count
Yeah,
as...
no. Doesn't matter.
Oh, just beautiful. What is it?
Huh?
Sort of a delicate jade, but with a little seafoam green, is that right?
Sorry?
Your hair, dear! Which shade do you use? It's lovely! And that shape, you're really pushing the envelope.
Oh, thanks. I do what I can to offset Grimoire's beige on brown ensemble.
Detectives don't need to be brightly colored. We prefer to blend into the
Поэтому у тебя
background.
красные волосы. Все
Oh,
логично.
you're the detective? Delightful. Penny Pointer, pleasure.
Is that short for Penelope?
Officially, yes, but I never can be bothered with all 4 syllables of it. Penelope sounds a little ostentatious coming out of the mouth, don't you think?
Sure. Yeah.
20-something, Aquarius, love to travel, and nearly all of my friends are birds.
Travel? Where to?
Anywhere at all, as long as it has species worth studying. Ornithology, they call it. I call it the only thing I've ever been good at.
And have you studied the birds here at Tangle Tower?
But of course! Where else do you think I developed my love of the field? No matter where
Кем
I
они
go,
все работают?
I
Как они
always
зарабатывают
find
вообще
myself
деньги на
coming home
жизнь?
to Tangle Tower.
Because of the birds.
Oh, no, because of him. Silly to admit, but I suppose I can't
Это да
bear
про
us to be
кого-то.
apart.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, don't you know? My fiancé, dear
жених?
Fitz. He's not really the traveling type, you see.
Ах,
Fitz
вот
fellow,
с кем он
the very
мутит.
one.
You're engaged to a member of the Fellow family? That's interesting.
I'm not especially interested in whatever tedious feuding goes on between our 2 families. Fitz and I find it much easier to stay out of it altogether.
Ну и правильно, молодец.
I awoke early and headed down into the greenhouse to see Fitz. He's always there, crack of dawn, every morning like clockwork.
How come?
It's where he's happiest. That and he has a great deal of work to do every day, watering, pruning, mulching, whatever that is.
Do you help him with the work in the greenhouse?
Нравится, как у нее
no,
боньк-боньк
no.
делают
I wouldn't dream
ее
of it.
хвостики.
Probably break something.
So, you stayed with Fitz the whole day?
Да, я
No.
спрошу тарел
In
пельмешей.
the early afternoon, he went back inside. Rather suddenly, as it happens.
Did he say why?
He didn't. Probably just a touch of heat stroke, the poor dear. He's more delicate than you'd think.
What did you do after that?
Let's see. I returned to the aviary to feed my birds.
And how many birds are you responsible for?
Officially 4, but in truth it's more like 400.
Can they not feed themselves?
Of course, and they often do. But I think they just like the company. As do I.
Aww.
Sometime in the evening, I left the aviary and headed back towards my room. But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs. He was muttering something. Seemed a bit upset, the poor dear. I followed him down, but the grand hall was empty by the time I got there. Empty aside from Detective Hawkshaw, who was loitering over by the library. I don't know what it was, but she looked a little lost. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the fellow tower. I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path. For some reason, he was coming out of Fitz's bedroom. He looked rather lost, too. I told him I was looking for Uncle. He suggested we look up in Flora's tower room. We could see from the hallway. The door was off its hinges. I knew then something was terribly wrong. A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya. Uncle Pointer was there.
Подожди, это комната Флоры? Я еще думала, это комната Фрейя.
What about Flora?
Of course, silent as ever. Uncle suggested we should leave. Give the others some space, you know. So he and I both returned to our rooms in Pointer Tower. Isn't he strapping?
He is big.
And so brooding.
Kinda sulky, yeah.
I can never tell what's going on in that beautiful head of his.
That just sounds like you don't know him very well.
I don't remember asking for your input. Oh, did you talk to Poppy already?
Yeah, a little bit.
And did you make any notes of what she told you?
Yeah, I did.
Lovely. Burn them. It'll all be lies.
Why would Poppy lie to us?
Because that's what she does.
Ну, удивительно, кстати.
Snake. Looks like one too.
Don't you think you're being a little unfair, Penny?
She started it.
Ревнует его к Фицу, что ли?
Oh, she's beautiful. Who is she? Wait, is that me?
Прикольно, прикольно.
She'd sit in the aviary, first thing in the morning, and paint the birds. Sometimes she'd ask me their names.
Freya was interested in studying bird species too?
No, just wanted to know their names. Isabelle, Clementine, Myrtle, Lysandre, Genevieve.
Got it, thanks.
For my 21st birthday, she gave me a framed painting. All the birds from a single spring, with their names written underneath. I can't begin to tell you how much I've treasured it.
А где картина?
Sounds like you two were close.
I feel like I always struggled to articulate my admiration for her. But she had a way of understanding unspoken things. She's a most unsavory little... She was incredibly rude about my appearance.
Which part? The giant bird arms, or...
If I were her, I'd go easy
то есть
on
в их
the
мире это нормально,
judgment
что у
of
человека
others.
крылья
I mean,
птичьи.
look at her. She looks like the ghost of a scarecrow. I just wish Uncle Pointer would tell her to behave herself.
Professor Pointer? Why him?
Oh, it was Uncle that called her in. She's his responsibility. Did you not know that? I must say, I really don't care for the den of self-delusion that he's retreated into. People are better off when they just let themselves be themselves. Between you and me, I think Felix is secretly rather miserable. A fellow bird enthusiast. She's quite the expert, truth be told. Studied them professionally at one point. I think her father taught her.
Are you friends with Flora?
Да.
A little bit.
С Флорой тяжело дружить, мне кажется.
She's one for the peace and quiet. I dare say I'm a little too loud for her.
I can see that.
I do admire her, though, really. Always felt like she could have done better than settle for Felix.
Ouch.
I said it. I must say the girls are awfully well behaved today. I think they know we're in the presence
Такое
of
ощущение, будто одной птицы не
They
хватает
belong
там.
to you? Why do you keep them in a cage?
They need a special diet, particular treatment. I let them out to fly occasionally, of course. But they're all one of a kind. I couldn't let anything happen to them.
Do they have names?
Of course. Let me introduce you to Tabitha, Tamara,
Тамара и
and Tatiana.
Татьяна!
I've already forgotten all three of those names.
Which one is which?
Oh, that's
Татьяна!
simple. Tatiana is the oldest, Tabitha is the most patient, and Tamara has the best sense of rhythm.
Тамара явно
Glad we
нижняя.
cleared that up.
What about the one on your head?
On my head? It's just my hat. It doesn't have a name. Who would name their hat? Oh, there used to be all kinds of birds here at Tangle Tower. The most fascinating breeds, all totally unique.
Used to be? There are birds all over the place.
Most of them are rather ordinary, I'm afraid.
What happened to the non-ordinary ones?
That is a very good question. Lovely. I can't decide what's worse. How she looks here, or how she looks now.
Do you know who this is? In the photo?
Чьи-то что Поппи.
Absolutely no idea. Looks a little simple for Poppy, doesn't it? Thought she was a grade 12 or something.
I didn't know there were that many grades.
I'm sure they invented some new ones just for her.
Господи, как она ее не любит.
Oh, did Fitz show you that?
Not exactly.
We found it hidden under his bed.
Ah, right. Haven't seen this one in a while. He lives in the music room, doesn't he?
Currently.
Ooh, delightful. More of a gemstone than a fruit, isn't it?
Inedible, too, I think.
Yes. At one point, I thought Fitz might be growing them to sell them. But honestly, I think he just likes the way they look. I don't know what that is. A bit vain to carve wooden figurines of oneself, isn't it?
Ой, Пенни.
If I'm not
Кому бы говорить о
mistaken,
тщеславии?
that little red and white one is supposed to be a bird of some kind. Oh, that's rather sad. Freya doesn't take very good care of her pains, does she? But then she was always rather bohemian, had her own priorities. How terrible.
You recognize it?
The color scheme. 3 different pinks. Obscene. Poppy's gramophone. She's had it for a long time. As a young child, she'd call it her mama phone, on account of it belonging to her mother.
That's cute.
Oh yes,
Mama-phone.
adorable. Gaudy old thing, isn't it? Laura seems
Соглашусь.
very fond of it. I've never understood why. But then I could say the same thing about her husband.
Heyo!
Не, ну Пенелоп, конечно, та еще штучка.
I doubt Freya intended it, but the overall effect is a little unsettling. Don't you think? It's Flora that's the problem. She's an inescapably haunting presence, bless her.
А что, не написано в описании, что за игра? Вроде бы я поставила.
Hello. Who penned this juicy little number?
We don't know. It's not signed.
An anonymous letter? Classic clue. I'm sure I've read about this creature somewhere. Don't remember anything about him playing the harp, though. Finally! I get to see a detective's case file.
That's a very specific thing to be excited about.
Only last week I asked that miserable Hawkshaw woman if I could see her case notes.
I'm guessing she said no.
Would have been much more polite if she had just said no. Instead, she was quite rude to me. Accused me of being, what was it? A shallow sensationalist. No, it's probably quite impressive. To a visitor, fresh eyes and all that.
Not to you?
Try living in it for 20 years. The sheen wears off. If it wasn't for my fits, I'd have little reason to stay.
What about inheritance?
Да, дарил
You're the
пельмешей,
next
хорошо.
oldest pointer after your uncle, aren't you?
Well, thank you very much for phrasing it like that. But no, any money left in the Pointer family will pass down directly to Poppy.
Is that fair?
I couldn't care less, to be perfectly honest.
We can get into Penny's room now.
Now, like,
О, как у нее удобно комната расположена. Комната Пенни.
Ever get the feeling you're being watched?
the mannequins don't have eyes, though.
That's not a comforting sentence. That's some flower.
There's something weird about it. It just feels out of place.
Пестрый цветок необычной формы. Кажется, он здоров, за ним хорошо ухаживает. Почва синего цвета.
Traveling cases.
Empty. All of them.
This is the fanciest room so far.
Too fancy.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Все спросит, тарелка
Looks like
мишень, не
nature
переживай.
invited itself in. Rude.
It's a birdhouse.
Are those real birds? Nope. They're wooden.
They're using up all the perches. What if a real bird wanted to use it?
Поменяй 7 птиц местами. Куда мне их переставлять? Наверное, надо поискать подсказки.
Reset the puzzle. Just gonna rest my brain. That bed. It's like something from a fairy tale.
Does it feel warm over here? Or is
No, you're right. Maybe the bed has some kind of heater.
it's not coming from the bed. It's coming from the wall.
That bed.
Does it
No, you're
It's
right.
not coming from the bed.
A little tea set. Looks recently used.
One of the cups has tea in it.
What's in the other one?
Birdseed.
Блин, классная комната, мне
That
очень
might be
нравится.
the most pointless staircase I've ever seen. This is the
I don't know.
Ever get the feeling you're being
The
That's
mannequins.
not. Looks like rude.
It's a
Are
birdhouse.
those real birds?
Игра просто чудесна. Я уже жду продолжения расследования. Было бы здорово пройти ее полностью. Этот донат отдаю на нее.
Спасибо большое, Кадаш, за донатик. Спасибо. Какой из этих цветов может получиться? Так. Предположим, здесь получается, если так, белый. А если зеленый смешать с голубым?
Nope.
There must be something to do with those white.
Я не разбираюсь в смешении цветов.
Nothing.
I think the birds are.
Вот это я сделала точно правильно.
That's the one.
А, все.
Hey, not bad.
Здорово, Димасик.
Did the door open? What's in there?
Измятая бумажка. Внутри обнаружены красные пески. Злобно корябана. Теперь уж я ее достану. Интересно. Пойдемте к Фицу. Спасибо за донатик, Кадаш. Спасибо. То, что у него глаза в темноте светятся, это kinda creepy.
Poppy and I are friends.
Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes, blue hair, an average of 3 words per sentence. Oh, you're like 2 peas in a pod.
She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. Unusual flowers, mostly. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong? Penelope is my fiancée.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Penny doesn't really strike me as your type.
She's not who she pretends to be. People think she's... well, they make assumptions.
And how's the relationship doing recently?
Good. It's good.
Да. А что у него с лицом было? Где он просто улыбнулся?
Those petals, they,
What?
they're red. A flower.
Yeah, it's a flower. We found it in Penny's room.
Okay.
Mean anything to you?
Why would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to.
Только припоминать Пенни, как его невеста, Фитц улыбается, больше нигде за всю игру. Прикольно.
Penelope's 3 favorite birds. She's very protective over them.
Are they, like, her pets? Do they have names?
Oh, they have names. Penelope loves to name things.
Do you remember what she named them?
I do not.
Yes, it's my, my flower.
You don't like it?
I'm no good at caring for plants. I forget to water them. Birds are much easier. They're a lot more vocal when they get thirsty.
Do you at least like the look of the flower?
The look?
The colors? The shape of it?
Between you and me, I think it's a little vulgar. That's rather strange now, isn't it?
We found it in your room.
Just lying around, was it?
Nope. You'd hidden it, but we found it.
We do that.
Who's the her in the message? And what's the deal with the petals?
It's really none of your business.
Интересно, интересно. Она такая всегда ошалевшая.
Those petals.
What about them?
It's nothing. They're just unusual. Never seen that one before. Was it in the greenhouse?
No. We found it in Penny's room.
Right. I think it's kind of cruel to keep 3 birds in one cage like that.
Соглы.
Does Penny not let them out to fly?
Oh, she does. She must do. But I don't think they're allowed to go far. Penny can be a little protective. Feathers flashing in the light, from a sunbeam gleaming bright. I shield my eyes and turn my head, but all at once I've been misled. Light is shining on the stage, but through the railings of a cage.
Окей. Так, ну давайте доисследуем уже этот кусок, эту башню. Тут, наверное, дядя. Батя, наверное, этот. Обсерватория. Да, мужичок. Вигл-вигл попой.
You know, I've always wanted one of those.
A mechanical solar system? What would you do with it?
I would look at it.
Wait a minute. Earth in the middle. Sun on the outside. How old is this thing?
И 5 планет, и Луну вокруг центра. Может, мне надо сделать полную темень? Я, кажется, догнала. Мне уже в эти линии попасть же, да?
Got it.
I'm impressed. Did you hear that? Something unlocked.
There's a little hatch underneath? What's in there?
A bunch of paper. Looks like somebody's research.
О, жуки. 4. Продолжительность жизни золотого жука, получившего это название из запаса 90% состоящего из минерала идентичного золоту, несколько лет. Он отгоняет хищников громким шипением, более 95 децибелов, к тому же он совершенно неперемаримый. Этот мистик незаслуженно славится неудачей, которую приносит тем, кто его увидит. А, вот зачем, видимо, были нужны наушники пиццу.
What is it?
Ah, it's clearly some kind of large device.
You're not wrong.
A spyglass to the stars. Volumes 1 to 12.
They're in very good condition.
It's too cloudy to see any stars right now.
It's also daytime. Pretty.
Trinkets.
They're clearly gizmos. There's something kinda disappointing about this room. I just expected a bit more from an astronomy tower.
Oh,
мне
that's enough compared
нравится.
to all the other astronomy towers you've been to. It's too cloudy to
It's
see.
also daytime.
It's a chart of the solar system. Which planet are you from, Sally? Let's at least introduce ourselves before touching
Будет ли
his
запись стрима?
telescope.
Конечно.
Always a good roll.
It's tidier than my desk. The notebook is untouched. It's completely blank.
So, even the most well-used notebooks start off blank.
Trinkets.
They're clearly
The bell jar.
What do people normally keep in bell jars?
Other than bells, you mean? It's tidier than mine.
So, even the most well-used notebook.
It's tidier.
So, even the most well-used
It's full of tea.
criminal.
It's tidier than
So,
mine.
even the most well-used notebook.
Shh, listen. Do you hear them?
Блядь, что у него?
The stars.
Что у него с
They're
волосами?
whispering. So quiet and yet so loud.
Почему он надел
What are they
крышу на
whispering
голову?
about? Are they spreading rumors about us?
I shouldn't think they concern themselves with such insignificance. We are but specks of dust, you and I.
Mm-hmm. Could the speck of dust start by telling me his name?
You find yourself standing in the astronomy tower of one Professor Percival Pointer.
Примерно так я себе представляю
Seems like
всех
this town belongs
Персивалей.
to the Pointers, and the other one belongs to the Fellows.
Это дядька
Well observed,
книжка.
my dear. Tangle Tower is something of a duality as it happens. Meaningless boundaries, really. They exist only in our minds.
Helpful.
Me? Not much to say. Strictly speaking, I'm the current head of the Pointer family. And of course, father to my precious Poppy.
And a professional astronomer?
Oh no, that's just a little hobby. I mean, yes, I've studied the stars for over 35 years, published 17 books.
Just a little hobby.
Sounds like you're quite well known. You must bring in a good amount of money.
Oh dear me, no. My field of research has never yielded any kind of stable financial return.
Как они
Nor would
этот
I
дом
expect it
содержат?
to.
Я вообще не
I
понимаю.
am nothing but a humble interpreter for the cosmos, working to translate its message so that I may share it with the world.
Cool. Tell the cosmos I say hi.
The day began as any other, with blissful, unremarkable routine. I took my usual morning walk around the gardens. Fresh air does wonders for the mind.
Did you see anyone else?
Penelope and Fitz were in the greenhouse together. I didn't bother them, of course. I sat for a while besides the pond in the garden. It's a favorite spot of mine. Eventually, I returned to my tower and buried myself in my studies for the afternoon.
Did you use your telescope yesterday?
Once the stars began to appear, naturally.
For how long?
I can't say. I've been known to lose hours at my telescope.
Did you see anything?
No actual discoveries, if that's what you mean.
So you were all alone up in the astronomy tower. Must have been a while before you found out what had happened to Freya.
Quite. Normally, I would be the last to find out about such a thing. But a curious tug of fate led me towards the fellow tower later that evening. I was at my telescope for the majority of the evening. But at one point, I returned to my desk to look something up in a reference book.
Дизайн персонажа говорил, что и сам не знает у поинтера, что на голове, что его прическа постоянно задумана такой, чтобы не было понятно, что это
I
такое.
couldn't find the book I wanted, so I figured Fiona must have borrowed it. I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall. I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library. She looked impatient and slightly frustrated.
Same as ever then?
Quite. I passed her by and went upstairs to Fiona's room. The door was locked, but I could hear shouting coming from inside. I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter. I had no desire to invade their privacy by eavesdropping, so I waited for them to finish and come out into the hall. Before I could ask about the book, Poppy grabbed my hand and took me upstairs along with Fiona. It was apparent that both of them had already been crying about something. We went up to Flora's tower. Freya was laying on her back, right in the middle of the room. Flora and Fitz were already there. They both looked stoic as ever. Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did, and then Fiona went downstairs with Poppy for some reason. I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Why did you leave so quickly? Wasn't there anything you could have done to help?
Don't take this the wrong way, but the whole ordeal is fellow family business. I'm quite sure they don't need me getting in the way at a time like that.
Сейчас, подождите. Я хочу кое-что понять. Еще не пропустила?
A listless soul drifting through the ether.
What's wrong with her?
Not sure. She's always been troubled. Comes from a dysfunctional family. I'd say you could ask her about it, but I think you might find that to be a bit of
Да,
a
мы
dead end.
заметили.
He should learn to make the most of his lot in life. And he does have a lot in life.
You're talking about money?
Among other things, but yes, he currently has agency over a small fortune.
Ого, хоть кто-то с
That is,
деньгами в
if he
этом
hasn't
доме.
already squandered it or lost it.
You two don't get on?
Oh no, we're the best of friends.
Звучал как сарказм.
Hard to read, that one, but she seems to know what she's doing.
She's kind of mean.
You know, I simply assumed all detectives were sharp, rigorous, and thorough. Then, of course, I met you. Nobody could deny her talent. She was remarkable, artistically gifted, but also highly intelligent.
Those two things aren't mutually exclusive, you know.
Was she ever interested in astronomy?
I don't think she was. The fault may well lie with me for failing to inspire her. But I think she was captivated by more tangible things
Давай,
here on
Флоренция, доброй
Earth.
ночи.
My daughter loved her. Fiona, too. That said, in the last year or so, more and more I've begun to notice her by herself, wandering the gardens at the most peculiar hours. She must have explored every inch of the grounds 100 times over. Quite a restless spirit, I think. I'm surprised she chose to live at Tangle Tower as long as she did. What do you want me to say? He's the gardener.
He's a member of the family.
Yeah, but not the Pointer family.
What happened to his parents, do you know?
His father, Flint, is Felix's brother. Strange man. Don't think anybody knows what happened to him, but he certainly doesn't live here anymore.
What about his mother?
Emily? I've not met her. She never actually married into the fellow family. Her relationship with Flint was, it was
Какие-то
short-lived.
матери-кукушки в этой игре. Прям все детей бросают.
I don't especially want to talk
что не
about
видела начала
myself.
стрима. Интересная игра.
Можно будет пересмотреть стрим, он останется на Твиче и на Ютуб выложу. Спасибо, Анга, за еще один донат.
Introspection often leads to vanity.
Wait, does it?
Why don't we discuss the moons of Jupiter
О,
instead?
действительно.
I'm not sure if we have time. Aren't there like 10 of them?
83.
Yeah, we don't have time.
Я бы обсудила.
Ah, Penelope, our resident ornithologist.
Penny's your niece, is that right?
At this moment in time, until she marries the gardener.
She'll still be your niece.
But she'll depart from the world of the Pointers and join the Fellows. Like rats deserting a sinking ship.
Блин, если так подумать, перевод их фамилии с английского fellow, это же вроде друг, приятель, товарищ, так сказать. А pointers это типа тыкающие. То есть у нас есть семья товарищевы и семья тыкальщики.
My Poppy, my pride and joy. Exceptionally talented pianist from a young age. She... Hold on. Why is she on your list of suspects?
Because she's a suspect.
Владислав
Oh,
Тыкающий.
no, I can personally vouch for her innocence. She'd never... Well, the truth is, she loved Freya very dearly.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to Poppy's mother?
Primrose? She was Flora's sister, a Remington by birth. The playing field has never really been even since she left.
Where did she go?
Away. She went away.
Вон ультра-мега-пон.
So, we found some research. What's up with this golden beetle? Is this something you're studying?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. I think it must be something left behind by a previous inhabitant of Tangle Tower. I'm not the first scientist to ever walk these halls, you know.
Well, it wasn't in the halls. It was in your astronomy tower.
Неловко получилось.
What a precious photograph. She hasn't changed a bit, has she?
Who?
Oh, if you don't know, perhaps I don't either.
Как они не хотят обсуждать, кто
my.
это.
This is the first piece that Primrose ever learnt on the piano. Primrose, that is Poppy's mother. She passed it down to Poppy when she started teaching her how to play.
Poppy's piano teacher was her mother?
Of course. Warms my heart to know that after everything, Poppy still has it up on her wall. I've seen those earmuffs before. They're the ones Fitz always wears when he's out the front gardening.
Always wears?
Whenever I've seen him, yes. Oh, you found a murder weapon?
Steady on.
Блин, он так смешно
It's
ручками
just a gardening
дергает.
trowel.
Looks like a weapon to me. I haven't seen that tape for a long time. Who broke it?
No idea.
Ah, well, possessions are fleeting, my friends. Fitz seems rather keen to grow things like this in his greenhouse, doesn't he?
What's wrong with that?
Well, you can't eat it. Makes you wonder why he bothers at all.
Может, он хочет разбогатеть? Мне так кажется. Видимо, он пытается сделать что-то прям супер золотое, разбогатеть.
Where on earth did you find that?
It was in a bush outside. I think someone threw it away.
How peculiar. A very old statue indeed. I'd recommend you leave it well alone. The poor fellow's in bad enough shape as it is.
Так, ладно, я хочу еще куда-нибудь сходить. Нам еще за целый стрип надо все успеть исследовать. Библиотека. Фифи, вот твоя.
It's an illustrated book about birds.
It's been left open. Looks like somebody was halfway through reading it.
Я думаю, сегодня на стриме со всеми познакомимся.
Or it was left open for us to find.
Ever so slightly unnerving.
Книга с птицами, чернильник, на удивление умная птица, живущая очень долго по сравнению с другими птицами-местидами. Другие птицы часто агрессивны по отношению к чернильнику, поэтому большая жизнь он проводит в одиночестве. Чернильник отличается особенностью питания, обычно есть только семена растений танту мамика. Смотри рисунок.
Somebody taking an interest in extinct animals.
Extinct?
Oh, yes. The book is very old. Most of the birds in it are long gone.
Well,
Он из Москвы играет Resident Evil.
The ink dip.
This one? Well, it was thought to be extinct for a long time. Then one was found here at Tangle Tower.
So it's not extinct.
You misunderstand. It was the last one. The very last.
Oh.
Музыка прикольная в ее комнате.
What
I
is
think it's a family tree.
То есть у нас...
Felicia Fella?
Freya's mother.
Do you think she still lives here?
У нас, значит, Фрея Феллу,
Damien,
ее...
it's Freya's. Do you think he still lives here?
Что с родаками, мы пока не в курсе. У нас есть Фитц.
Emily Everstone. Do you think she still lives here?
Что с его матерью мы тоже не в курсе, но вроде она тоже куда-то исчезла. Флинт
Flint?
умер.
Do you think he still lives here? Felix?
We met him. He's one of the...
Феликс женат на Флоре.
We met her. She's one of the...
И их дочь-то Фиона.
Fiona?
She's half
Do you
Fel-
think she still lives here?
Richard.
The one and only.
Ричарда Ремингтона мы не знаем.
Do you think she still lives here?
Примроуз померла.
We met her. She's one of the...
Почему Фиона, интересно, именно в центре? Поппи, Пенелопа, Пандора Пойнтер.
Buck?
What?
Do you think he still lives here?
Panda.
All this...
Do you think she still lives here?
What?
Фрея
I think
левая,
it's a family
Пенни,
tree.
Фиона, Пенни и Поппи двоюродная. Ну да. Она очень левая. Хотя это что за комната? Комната Фреи.
Books about nature? Books about ancient history? I think?
These books, I think they'd crumble into dust if I tried to pick them up.
Good excuse.
Thanks.
Блин, господи, что ж я все проскипала?
Books about geography.
Skip.
Books about geography.
Skip. Books about insects.
Well, theoretically, there's not a single book on that shelf.
Huh.
Books about space.
They're relatively untouched. Sure, why not build a science lab in the corner of the library?
The search for new knowledge. The archiving of old knowledge. It's downright poetic.
Is that a snow globe?
Of sorts. Hey, look at that. It's a model of Tangle Tower. There's the lake and those weird mountains. What are you thinking?
That would make an amazing souvenir.
Hey, look what are you thinking?
That would make an amazing...
Hey, look at that. What are you
That
thinking?
would make an amazing...
Найти снежный шар, медаль ачивку.
What's in those bottles?
I'm not sure. Soil samples?
Sure, why
The
not?
search for the archiving. It's downright poetic.
Books about nature? Books about
The
birds.
shelves are about half empty.
Oh, so you're a the shelves are half empty kind of person.
You knew this already.
A book on the floor. Fundamental entomology.
I guess somebody dropped it. Books about
Skip.
geography.
A chalkboard.
Is this a library or a classroom?
Math equations.
Don't look at them for too long. You'll give yourself a headache.
Any idea what this means?
Not a clue.
I'm not sure I learned anything from that. A chalk?
Is this a library?
Надо еще раз что-нибудь посмотреть.
Any idea
Not
what...
a clue.
Math...
Don't look. You'll give yourself a headache. You'll give yourself a
I'm not
headache.
sure I learned anything. Sure, why
The
not?
search the archive. It's downright poetic. It's
What
must.
exactly does that mean? What is must?
Must. You ask such stupid questions.
Nice.
Curious. I would expect bacteria of that nature to thrive in
Такая
these conditions.
дурацкая.
Excuse me.
Taking all the environmental factors into account, there must be something I am still missing.
May I talk to you? Miss?
She knows we're here. She just doesn't care.
I am a detective, and I need to talk...
Correction. You do not need to talk to me.
Oh no? How come?
Я еще причем...
Because I am not a suspect.
Я когда
I am
смотрела на
completely
ее
innocent of
мини-модельку,
any and
я
all
думала,
crimes.
это глаза или наушники, а это очки такие.
Thanks for letting me know.
Speaking of which, you have now been at Tangle Tower for over 23 minutes. Surely you have already reached a sturdy hypothesis.
A hypothesis? About the murder?
Yeah, come on, Grimoire, hurry up.
My apologies. Unfortunately, protocol dictates I must at least meet all the suspects. And that includes you. So, could you tell me your name?
Fifi Fellow, microbiologist, inventor, innovator. You will need to be more specific. Oneself cannot be summarized in a single response without doing one a great disservice.
So true.
Well, first of all, you're a fellow. So does that make you the daughter of—
Correct. My father and mother are named Flora and Felix, but you need not question either of them. It will only waste valuable time. Neither of them are capable of murder.
Thanks for the tip.
Fifi, you said you were a micro... something or other?
Microbiologist, but it is an insignificant label. My studies cannot be categorized in any one recognized field.
What made you want to become a scientist in the first place?
I harbor an intrinsic fascination with the microscopic. I constructed my first one at age 10.
Constructed a microscope?
Correct.
And what's that thing on your head? Did you make that too?
My eyesight began to deteriorate when I turned 12. Not satisfied with the eyeglasses prescribed to me, I designed this custom lens instead. It automatically adjusts based on
Она
the
такая
surrounding light
дурацкая, не
conditions.
могу. Она такая кринжулька в хорошем плане.
But that would be most amusing. What can you tell me about the murder?
What can you tell me about... Wait, that's what I'm supposed to ask you.
Yes, however, you were too slow.
You
Да,
fancy
она на робота
yourself a detective
похожа.
too, Fifi.
I just need to know what happened.
Me too. So talk.
Fine. I knew ahead of time that Freya was going to be busy with her painting all day, so I had planned to spend the afternoon with Poppy. I was in the library all morning preparing the equipment for an experiment, only to find out that Poppy had made other plans and she was in fact planning to ignore me completely.
Oh.
So what did you do instead?
I locked myself in my room and cried.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Why?
I don't know, it just sounds kind of sad.
It is not unusual.
Oh. Good.
Жиза девочки, да? Жиза.
I was in my room. The lights were off and the door was locked. Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me. I opened the door. Poppy came into my room. Her makeup was leaking. She told me Freya was dead. I did not believe it. I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face. She insisted that we go up to Flora's tower. We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs. When I saw Freya lying on the floor, I was completely and utterly devastated. Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting. Poppy and I took the sample back downstairs to the library. We performed a test and found out that it was, in fact, blood.
You performed that scientific test immediately, even though you were feeling so upset?
Of course. Why would one affect the other?
Настоящий ученый. Давайте ее поспрашиваем обо всех.
Name, Flora Fellow. Age, 44. Profession, unknown. Likes, unknown. Dislikes, unknown.
Isn't she your mother? How do you not know anything?
I believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting non-verbal communication.
Блин, бедный ребенок.
How long has Flora been non-verbal?
She has always been quiet, willing to speak when necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond. Name, Felix Fellow. Age, 53. Profession, none.
А сколько Флоре лет? Я что-то
Collecting
прослушала.
objects of negligible monetary value and assigning them personal value.
Это я. Вот это я. Коллекционирую, блять, карточки китайские фейковые. Флоре 44, я думала, она бабка пиздец.
Dislikes, the inescapable realities of human existence. Notes, Felix is my father and legal guardian.
And, is he a good dad?
I have no point of comparison, but I would say no.
No? Why not?
You asked me a binary question. Do not get upset that I provided one of the two possible answers.
What makes him a bad father, Fifi?
He has trouble expressing his emotions, and something of a willful detachment from reality.
Huh. Just like you, then.
Grimoire.
No, he is quite correct. Name, Fiona Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, amateur microbiologist. Likes, the meaningful archiving of information. Dislikes, the superfluous window dressing accompanying the majority of human contact. Notes, kindly disregard the polysyllabic form of my given forename and refer to me instead as Fifi.
How come you prefer Fifi?
How come you prefer Grimoire?
How are you related to the other fellows?
Fitz is my cousin. His father, a man named Flint, was my uncle.
Was?
I do not know if Flint is alive or not. He left Tangle Tower a long time ago.
Мне нравится, как они все съебывают без каких-либо объяснений из башни.
And what about Freya? How are you related to her?
We share exactly one grandparent. Name, Hawkshaw. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clipboard.
О, пришло осознание внезапно.
Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me. There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Блин, я с Фрей ловлю жесткие вайбы Лоры Палмер. Они все так разговаривают, вот реально как о Лоре в Твин Пиксе. Что-то она была вся такая невероятная, яркая, светлая, добрая, вообще.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became, 1, increasingly independent, and 2, increasingly isolated.
Do you know why?
I do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
The three of you are friends.
We are of a similar age, and all highly gifted. 1 scientist, 1 artist, and 1 musician.
Sounds like quite a team.
Надеюсь, если Фифи по типу личности ученый, кстати.
Name, Fitzfellow. Age, 24. Profession, cryptobotanist. Likes soil, dislikes electric lights.
Hang on. Cryptobotanist? I thought he was
То,
just
что
a
придумали новую криптовалюту, крипторастения?
That may well be his preferred label. Mine, however, is more accurate.
Do you and Fitz not see eye to eye, Fifi?
We do not.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. He's well over 6 foot and you've got to be just
So, what's your problem with him?
Exactly 1 week ago, I witnessed him sneaking up Pointer Tower. He was making every effort to avoid detection.
So?
He was also carrying a knife. Name, Percival Pointer. Age, 57. Profession, none.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me. Name, Penelope Pointer. Age, 27. Profession, ornithologist. Likes, birds. Dislikes, insects. Notes, Penelope is very beautiful. I have never had very much in common with her. Name, Percival Pointer. Age, 57. Name, Poppy Pointer. Age, 19. Profession, oh. Apparently Poppy has defaced my notes. Under profession, I had of course originally written pianist, but she has crossed that out and written the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
Я так смотрит свои записки. Такая деловуся.
Do you know who was reading this book?
It belongs to my mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother has not been in the library for some time.
Who is that in the photo?
I'm quite sure that I have no idea.
Они не вспоминают, да, эту розовую фазу в жизни Поппи, я понял.
Freya is normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is holding. I performed the test on the red paint myself. I discovered that it was in fact not paint, but blood.
What made you want to test it in the first place?
It was Poppy. She told me she thought the painting looked like a bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was overly viscous.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course.
Она умная.
Is she laughing?
Это стоило того. Так, насчет чего бы еще ее доебать?
Who is this her to whom the message refers?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object? Next! Curious. The statue itself does not interest me, but I do wish to know about those symbols on the harp. Have you deciphered their meaning yet?
We're working on it.
We are?
Fifi's bedroom should be...
Can't wait.
There's something about the report of Fitz going up Pointer Tower. Something.
Let's ask him about it.
Так, понятно. К Фиксу мы сходим. У нас открылась комната Фифи. Сейчас быстренько ее чекнем.
It's a magnifying glass. A big one.
How come you don't have one of those?
Why? Because I'm a detective? Should I start smoking a pipe too?
You can pull off a pipe.
It looks like a microscope. A big one.
Can I touch it? I'm not sure this is a microscope.
I guess
The
that's...
four lenses, so they must each have a specific position.
О.
Nope. You need to magnify. Looks like you might need to over.
Что я делаю не так? То есть мне нужно вот явно разобраться с вот этой фигней. Это я наоборот уменьшаю. Это я очень сильно увеличу. Вот это у меня стоит правильно же, да? О.
Nothing.
You want to start by or vice versa.
Что так?
No, that was it.
О,
Nice work. Sounds like it unlocked.
Yeah, it's built on top of a little metal box. There's a book in here.
тайный дневник. Закрытый залог с помощью странного металлического устройства.
A pretty ornate window with a great view of the lake.
We're supposed to be looking for clues, not assessing the real estate value.
And over here, you'll see the owners use sheets of paper to block out all that unnecessary natural light. A simple trick, but it really transforms the space. What's that big book on the desk?
Looks like something Fifi's been writing.
Is it a clue?
I hope not. It's just a bunch of notes about her microbiology experiments. I don't know what that drink is, but I bet it's 99% sugar.
I'd read you the ingredients, but there's nothing written on the can.
That's even worse.
Люстры,
Crystal
конечно, вообще
chandeliers.
бомба.
Extra fancy.
I don't know. They just seem old-fashioned to me. Plus, they're kind of dusty.
A new suspect! Don't think you can get out being questioned just because you're a bear.
I'm innocent, I promise.
Save it for the judge. Fifi's
Кринжульки.
got something pinned up here.
What is all this?
Is that supposed to be me? Why do I look so angry?
That's just the face you make when you're thinking. Does make you wonder, though. When did Fifi draw all this?
That's you, Sally.
What? I do not look like that, do I?
Is Fifi trying to solve the mystery with math equations?
Maybe. Did you ever try that? Maybe it works.
Нравится, как Фит соединен с Пенни.
Looks like Fitz.
Ой, Пенни, Поппи.
Looks like Professor Pointer.
It's a drawing of Penny.
That's gotta be Flora. Is that
That's just does make you wonder, though. It's Poppy. That's actually a pretty good drawing.
I think that's supposed to be Felix.
It's Detective Hawkshaw.
Is...
Maybe. Did you ever try that?
Did you notice who isn't on here?
Freya?
Mm-hmm. And Fifi herself.
Он, Дэйбём.
Nice room.
It's a mess, but yeah.
That's a whole lot of books.
Boxes of stuff.
Scientific formulas, probably. I'll openly admit I have no idea what any of it means. It's a bed.
Barely.
Stuff Fifi's thrown away.
You gonna rummage through the trash can?
No, that is quite beneath me, thank you.
I give it 5 minutes before you're in there.
What's that big
Ну,
book?
я хотела, мне интересно, что там за чипсики.
A simple trick, but it...
A book. My book.
And what's in it?
Pages.
Справедливо.
Now this is interesting. Where did you find it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Nope.
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah, you could.
I would not say that, however.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No, it would be quite naive. To study science in any field is to study the connections between all matter in the universe, living or inanimate. It is a flower. It reminds me of something, but I cannot say what. The fruit here has a unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless, unless you wish to cut it down and sell it as a precious stone.
It's not edible?
Depends.
On what?
On the structural integrity of your teeth.
О, привет, Мишвен.
This belongs to Professor Pointer, does it not?
О, первый, кто сказал, что это не Фифина.
So?
Who else would own such a pointless little telescope?
It's a
Это
telescope.
микроскоп.
Oh, yes. It has a telescopic lens. It can only be used for looking at things that are far away.
Интересно.
The red paint on the brush is not paint. It is blood. Same for the palette.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
I do not know the answer.
Так, предлагаю смотаться в комнату Фрейи.
There's something about Hawkshaw's some...
Let's ask her about it.
И будем на этом заканчивать стрим.
Freya's bear.
Блин, у нее комната такая бомжатская, даже окна нет.
That painting is really something.
Why would you want it looming over your bed like that?
Maybe Freya enjoyed the atmosphere it creates.
The atmosphere of chaos and oppression?
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph.
Небольшая фотография абстрактной картины Фрей. На нее прикреплен кусочек изоленты. По краям черными чернилами нарисованы линии.
That painting.
Why?
Maybe hang on. There's a small.
It's a photograph. Do you think this was...
I don't know. It is kind of a weird shape.
No windows either. And there's no natural light in here at all.
I like it. That painting.
Why?
Maybe there's
It's a photograph.
painting supplies.
Even though we're halfway up a tower, someone's been tracking in mud from outside. It's a little wooden box for paintbrushes.
To the casual observer, maybe. They're not real
Ой,
paintbrushes.
головоломка.
Looks like they're part of some kind of lock
Пойдешь
mechanism.
после стрима в гусей? Ну, где-нибудь через полчасика. Вы там мне забронируйте место. Я очень спустя какое-то время пойду. Все надо как-то совместить.
Nothing.
Did you find it looks like a ripped up jigsaw?
Что вот это такое?
That was
Each brush, the information we need is on
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each characteristic.
Сюда должна подойти обязательно оранжевая. Здесь должна быть обязательно розовая.
Still locked.
There's a couple of brushes with
Сюда должна быть обязательно голубая. Сюда обязательно скошенная. То есть скошенная у нас без вопросов остается вот тут. Значит, единственная оранжевая идет сюда. Сюда обязательно идет зеленая.
Still locked.
There's a couple of brushes with
Так.
Still locked.
There's a couple of brushes with
Still locked.
There's a couple of brushes with
Так, ну здесь точно голубая. Здесь точно голубая, и как раз она высоко. Сюда идет оранжевая. Что, ну, вот эти две здесь точно, наверное. Верхний ряд — это размер кистей. Так, хорошо. Так, подождите. Нижний ряд — это какого цвета должны быть кисти. Второй ряд — это какая форма. Вот это стоит... Вот, короче, вот эти две, они точно тут находятся. На третьей позиции должна быть обязательно вот такая кисточка. То есть либо зеленая, либо вот такая. И должна быть розовая.
Still locked.
There's a couple of brushes with
Still locked.
There's a
Блядь,
couple of brushes with
что не так? Так, подождите, у нас есть еще одна. Хорошо, если вот эту скошенную поставить сюда, значит, здесь должна быть обязательно голубая. Должна быть обязательно голубая. Сюда обязательно должна идти вот эта. Тут должна быть обязательно оранжевая.
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with
Так, поменяем их местами.
That's done
Все.
neat. What was in the box?
Just a photograph. Well, most of a photograph.
Фотография двух девочек. У одной красный волос, у другой зеленый. Фотография тоже большой кусок.
There's something about that pink cassette tape. Something.
Let's ask Poppy about it.
Freya's plants. They must not need sunlight. It's Freya's bed. A little bit messy.
It's a perfectly healthy amount of messy.
Drawings taped up on the wall.
What's that one on the left?
Looks like two people standing together in a garden. One of them's holding a red rose.
Фифи, детектив Кокшоу, Поппи и Фит в саду. Рисунок, который зовут Поппи и Фит, был нарисован в саду на крыше.
There's something about those petals we found in Penny's room. Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
Freya's plants. They must not need sunlight. Do you think this was
I don't
no
know.
windows either? That's weird.
What did you find in the drawers?
Nothing. They're completely empty. It's Freya's bed. A little bit
It's a
messy.
perfectly healthy amount.
Do you think this was
I don't
no
know.
windows either? Brushes, pencils.
They're clean, but they look pretty well used. Painting supplies.
It's a fish, I think.
I think it looks more like a whale.
Fine, it's a whale.
Could also be a shark.
Будем надеяться, что на этом месте у нас автосохранение произошло. Или оно происходит, когда мы выходим из игры. Ну, мы тогда сегодня... На сегодня все. Мы тогда завтра допройдем игру. Один стрим тогда... Ну, по идее, если на один стрим, который... Ну, короче, вот, все, пройдем. Все, поняли меня. Вот, завтра пойдем. Так, пока что не расходимся, я вам кину рейд на Фокси. Она сейчас проходит зайчика. Фокси, это с которой мы в гусей играем. Моя подруженька давняя. Давайте я вам кидаю к ней рейд. Напишите ей там что-нибудь приятненькое. Зафоловьтесь, что ли. И завтра тогда встречаемся с вами на прохождении, продолжении этой игры. Как раз мы к самому интересному подобрались. Давайте, отправляю вас к Фокси. Всем большое спасибо за стрим. Всех люблю, всем пока-пока.